Okay, let's see if it works. Wait, let me put it up here. Can anyone hear me? Can I be heard? Let me see. No, it's not coming up yet? No. Okay. What have I done wrong? Let me see. There you are. Can you see me now? Okay, I think now. Can the chat let me know if you can see and hear me? Okay, perfect, they can. Perfect, okay. This worked much faster than I thought it was going to work. Excellent. Now, so welcome to the 200,000 subscriber extravaganza. Wait, let me see if I can get this working as a celebration. This took me way too long to figure out how to do, but 200,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for... I'm still super shocked by this. I'm still super shocked that we managed to get up to 200,000 subscribers. And let me turn this confetti off now. So, now, how's the chat going? So yeah, I'd like to thank everyone for subscribing, helping with the channel and everything. It's been a great journey. Okay. This is technically a face reveal of half of the Kagito team. Oh, I think the audio is a little loud. 1 second. 1 second, let me just lower this for you. Okay. Oh yeah, just for everyone who's asking. Yes, we've reached 200,000 of subscribers. So many thousands. That is thousands of thousands of thousands. Now, okay. So there's going to be a Q&A. So I have a list of questions that we're going to answer that I've already seen. The first few ones are from Patreon supporters. And then I'll grab some random ones from the chat. Okay. I'm not sure how much of a delay there is, so let me double check. This is why I'm normally a cartoon, because I don't understand how cameras and stuff work. Paul Koshi says that if I got 1 million subscribers, would I buy 1 million potatoes? I'd buy more. I guarantee if you go in bulk, you can probably get potatoes for less than $1. So you could probably buy upwards of 2-3 million potatoes with that amount of money.
The confetti's still falling.
Oh, really? The confetti's still falling?
It's gone.
Oh, wait. Okay, the confetti should be over now. In my screen, it wasn't there. Okay. Also, to celebrate, I have this pint of Guinness. Feel free to get your own Guinnesses and everything. And we can have a nice little day in the pub, a night in the pub. Okay. Oh, the confetti is affecting the video quality. I should stop now. I didn't realize it was going for that long. So let's get into the questions. I have a little setup here that also took me a really long time to make. People asking what country I'm from, I'm going to answer that in the questions now as well. So let's jump over to the questions screen. I'm surprised so many of you are here. This is incredible. This is insane. There's 137 people watching this right now. Thank you all for thank you all for coming. This is insane. Now, people saying, will I make a video on Islam? Yeah, there's a video coming on Islam. There's a video coming on all the religions. I'm not planning on not covering any of them. I'm going to cover all of the religions. You guys love those videos, so I'm going to make as many as I can for you. We're going to do Islam, Christianity. We have Confucianism is going to come up. We're probably going to redo Buddhism, because the Buddhism video I did was a few years ago, and the quality of it isn't what I would like. Someone asked, where's my mate? I don't have it here. It's in Uruguay. Okay. First question. Let's see. Oh, that was a loud spike, Saz. There we go. I'll bring this over. Look at these effects. Ooh. Okay. So the first question is from, I hope I say the names right. I was afraid I was going to get everyone's names wrong in the pronunciations. I'm really bad at that. But then again, no one can pronounce my name either. So it's kind of fair. Okay, so the first question is from Eon, either Jeevan or Heaven, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, who is a supporter over on Patreon. Their questions are going to be answered first because, you know, Patreon supporters always get kind of a first preference because they help kind of keep the channel going. And he says, how and why did you start this channel? I started the channel like 4 or 5 years ago. I did one video, which was a video about a Polish bear called Wojciech, who fought in World War II. Made that. It was like 2 minutes long. Oh, wait, we got a super chat. Whoa, okay. For 50 Czech kroners. I can put that. I have a Czech bank account. I can maybe put that in there. I used to live in Prague. And what do you say? Can you make a video more like coffee and tea video type, please? And say thousands. Thousands. Thank you 1,000 amounts for your super chat. Yeah. There's going to be more videos on stuff like tea and coffee. We're going to do stuff on sugar, rum. What's the other one we had? Salt was also going to be an interesting one, mostly because like people just get paid in salt and everything. Salt has a huge effect on world history, and it lets us go all around the world to see like how they process salt in, say, like the Maya civilization, to how it was used in Rome and China, and giant salt trade lines. So we have all those kinds of resources that we're going to cover. So if you like the tea and the coffee video, you'll be happy with the next few videos going out. Okay, back to the questions, as I keep getting distracted. How and why did I start the channel? I started the channel because I always wanted to be a YouTuber. Like back when I was a teenager, I used to make like Minecraft and Call of Duty videos. So, and then I got really into watching educational videos from like Crash Course and Sweeney and Step Back History. There was like a huge, maybe 2 years ago, a lot of like educational creators started to appear, and I really liked their videos, and I was like, oh, I want to get into that. So yeah, I made a first video about Wojciech, this like smoking, drinking bear in World War II, and then I stopped for a while because I moved to Uruguay for a few months and became a teacher there, and like didn't have a lot of time until eventually I stopped being a teacher in Uruguay and was like, okay, I have all this free time now and a laptop, so I'm gonna draw some really fat little characters and make them dress up in historical clothes and explain things. I wish it was a better story, but Arthur M in the chat is saying Wojciech is actually pronounced like Wojtek. Yeah, my Polish, not great, but thanks for that. It's good to know. I pronounced it wrong for the entire video then. Okay, let's have it. Oh, we got another super chat. How you from Onam Sharma? I hope I said that right. Who said how you got into this? Anyway, love your videos. Thanks for that. Thanks for that super chat. I know what currency that is. Let me double check. What currency is that sign? Ah, it's an Indian rupee. I should have known that. That's cool. Thank you for that. But yeah, I just answered that question anyway, how I got into this. I got into it because I wanted to copy all of the good educational creators and started doing what I do. Hopefully it's as good as the other ones. Lots of comments saying love from India, and thank you. I love the fact that this channel has like a really large Indian fan base. That was really unexpected when I made the channel. And a lot of you came in before the Hinduism video. There was already like a large Indian fan base for the channel before we made the Hindu one. So yeah, it's incredible. Thank you so much. It's great to have all these people coming in from India. I hope it's not too late there. I planned this live stream. One sec. I planned this live stream hoping that it would be a good time for everyone, people in like over in the US and South America, and then people in Europe, and then people over in India. If you're in Australia, it's never really a great time for you. You're always the awkward ones. But hopefully it's a great time for everyone. I know it's late in India, so thank you for staying up late to watch this. You have surprisingly lots of Indian subscribers. What made you get everything? Oh, some more rupees. ABC Def, thank you so much for your super chat. Okay. Soggy Waffles says, do you like coffee or tea better? I'm answering this because your question's already in. I have it somewhere in my question thing here, but I'll answer it now. as an Irish person, tea is connected to your soul. An Irish person, on average, drinks about 5 million cups of tea a day. But coffee is like, I can't work without coffee. I can't wake up without coffee. Without coffee, these videos wouldn't happen. So tea is something like you drink so you feel better. Like it connects, with your insides, makes you feel all happy and nice when you drink it. Coming in from a cold day and coming in and drinking tea, nothing better than that. But yeah, without coffee, I'm pretty sure I would be out of work. So coffee for productivity, and because it tastes really nice, and tea for the soul, tea for life. Although now I can't drink as much tea as I used to. I used to drink roughly about 12 or 13 cups of tea a day. But yeah, now I have like a weird stomach thing and I can't drink it as much. Okay. Oh yeah, questions I was doing. Let's see. I'll get to the chat in a bit. So I'm going to keep track of like interesting questions and then get back to it. But first we have some more questions. This question is from, one sec, it's too small, I can't read that. This question is from Danny Van Hecke. I hope I said that right. And this was a very popular question. You can see, he says, are you agnostic, atheist, or belief in something else? And what's your favorite mythology or religion? And a lot of you, here's another one from, what is your theological religious beliefs? Here's another one, what do you think about religion and gods? And here's another one. And here's another one from Matt Baker from Useful Chats. It's a great channel. You should go subscribe. And here's another one. So you're all very interested in what my religious beliefs are. So let me get back to the question. Now, let me phrase this correctly. So, as a person that makes videos about religions, people obviously very interested in what I believe. And I can understand that. Personally, I don't actually have any religious beliefs. No religion really speaks to me. I don't really have any, I grew up in Ireland, so, you're Catholic, and all the schools are Catholic, and you do, communion and confirmation, which are at least kind of, Catholic, rites of passage. You do your first communion when you're, I want to say 10, but I could be very wrong. And then you do your confirmation as well when you're 12. But even then, even as a kid, I didn't actually believe in any of that religion. Not because there's anything wrong with it or I didn't like it. It never connected with me in any way. And no religions that I've studied, I find a lot of them to be interesting, and I find a lot of them to have a lot of very important and well thought out concepts and everything. But yeah, they don't speak to me personally. There's a lot of people in the chat saying they're atheists from India. That's cool. I know in Hinduism you can be an atheist and still be Hindu. And I think you'll see that more in the next few decades. You're going to see a lot more culturally religious people, as in people who are born Hindu or born Christian or born Buddhist who don't actually believe in any of the God parts of it. So yeah, I don't have any religious beliefs, but I don't see. Yeah, I know I don't phrase it. It's not something I actually think about a lot. I'm not an atheist in the fashion you see atheists who are kind of actively atheists who don't like religion. Just none of them actually have connected with me personally. Let me see. I think I missed some super chats there. Sorry. Is it much more than I expected coming in? That's incredible. So Indian Army donated 40 rupees, and he said, "Love from Indian Hindus." Thank you. Great to have you here. Mohit Singh says it's 9:42 p.m. in India. Really? Oh, I thought it was 11. I definitely got the time. What? Okay. More super chats. So yeah, Mohit, it's 9:42 in India. Thank you for that super chat. Let me see. Okay, but do you drink, this is from C Sound, who donated $10. Thank you so much. Okay, but do you drink good tea, like a fine oolong or puree? Puree. I can never pronounce it. When I was reading about the tea video, that word threw me. Sorry for this teasing. You're great. Keep it up. No, I drink tea from little tea bags. I drink an Irish brand called Barry's Tea. It's delicious. It's the only good, bag tea. Perfect. It's better. There's two brands in Ireland. There's Barry's and there's Lions. Don't drink Lions. It's worthless. Okay, other super chats. Let's see. This is from. Oh, I missed it. 1 second. The chat's moving so much faster than I expected. Okay. Varun Roy. Please do a video on fake news and its origin. and he donated 40 rupees. That could be an interesting video, but it's kind of outside the scope of what we cover on this channel. We don't really do a lot of modern-y things and kind of more things in the news cycle. It could be interesting to come at it from a different standpoint, like misinformation throughout time and throughout history, because there's a lot of that. There's actually a really lot of interesting things. If you go back in history, you see fake news being used to like start wars and to persecute different peoples and everything. So it's not a new phenomenon. The internet's made it worse, but it's not a new thing. So that could be an interesting angle. I'll write that down actually. My ideas. Okay, another super chat from Onam Sharma. 40 rupees, thank you so much. What do you connect with? I mean, soul-wise. Again, yeah, I love studying religions. I love reading like how people across the world have kind of like dealt with the world around them and like what they see in the world that surrounds them and what makes sense and how they make sense out of it. It's just not something that I personally have ever like really connected with. So none. The religions I study, I like how they phrase things, especially when I was researching like Hinduism and Taoism and Sikhism, and then Judaism video as well was really surprising. They have a lot of like philosophy I didn't know about. That seeing how they kind of take nature and take things that are kind of beyond human understanding and bring it into their own understanding was interesting to learn about. But none of it connected with me on like a spiritual level, if you understand what I mean. Interesting to read about, but yeah, I don't think I'm going to convert. From Juan Duque, he donated $2. He says, how good is your Spanish? Love your videos. So I go to Uruguay, which is a small country in South America, between like Brazil and Argentina, every single year for like the last 5 or 6 years. And as a person who goes and spends months in a Spanish-speaking country every single year and is surrounded by only like native Spanish speakers, my Spanish is really bad. It's so bad. I try and learn. I do. I sit down and I try and learn. I listen to like Uruguayan and Argentinian like vloggers to try and pick up the accent and the vocabulary. I try and read as many like children's books in Spanish as I can, but I don't know. I think my brain is just made of bricks and I can't pick up languages. And I have an example of why I can't, not an example of how bad it is. So I can speak at the moment 2 languages fluently, English and Irish. And the reason I can speak Irish fluently is because I went to what is called in Ireland the Gael School, which is like an Irish immersion school. If you speak English, you will get kicked out of school. And all of the subjects are all taught in Irish, so biology, maths, every single subject you do in school, history and everything, except for English obviously, is taught in Irish. Which means that like when I left school, I didn't know like most basic maths terms in English, I only knew them in Irish. Even after being in that school system for like 14 years, that's how long school is, my Irish is really bad. I can communicate and understand it, but at a level you'd expect someone who learned it for like 3 years. Languages just don't get in here like that easily. But I'm trying to make my Spanish better so that I can communicate with my Uruguayan in-laws and everything. Okay, so Nikhil N donated 40 rupees and he says, I can't afford much, love from India. Look, any super chat is incredible. I didn't expect anyone to leave super chats. For me, it's like an insane token of generosity that you guys donate money to this channel. So yeah, don't feel like you have to donate, or don't feel bad about donating what like you consider a small amount. Anything is really appreciated. Thank you so much. Love from India again. Thank you. What else do we have? Okay, I'll get back to the other questions. Wait, there's another super chat came in, sorry. Rajiv Gangal. If I'm pronouncing your names wrong, by the way, put it in the chat. So maybe if you come back next time, I can get your name right. I should probably learn better Indian pronunciation since there are so many of you now in our fan base. Have you ever been approached by OTT platforms? Would you want to go there, or is this a freer platform? I actually don't know what OTT is. Sorry about that. But I like being on YouTube. I think it's a great platform. It has problems, but I also have my videos up on Nebula, which is a platform for educational creators where we don't have to worry about any of the nonsense YouTube does. So if you're looking for a free platform where educational creators can talk. Well, the platform isn't free. The platform is a few dollars a month. Super worth it, but it's free in like an information sense. We can be more freer with it. So if people put like extra content up there because it wouldn't work on YouTube. So I think YouTube is a great platform. It just has problems. Okay, back to the questions. Now, these are the religion ones. Hopefully I answered that correctly. I never know if I'm being like eloquent or not, or even making sense. Okay, let me see. Okay, this is a long question. This is from Joshua Vishariel, and he's asked this question multiple times. He's over on Patreon, Patreon supporter, and he wants to know if I'm going to make videos about the Tejano people, which are the Hispanic settlers that live in Texas. I don't know much about them. I really don't. I'll definitely will make a video about them. Any kind of native people, or even not native, but like interesting peoples around the world whose story is kind of like complex and shows us that like most countries in the world aren't kind of homogenous. There's a lot of like stories going on between how people interact and different cultures. I'm gonna make videos on them. I want to make videos like Puerto Ricans. I want to make videos on the Tejano people. I'm gonna make videos on the Quechuas and the Ashamaras in Peru and Bolivia and all the different groups in India and China. Like any indigenous people, you don't have to ask if we're making a video on them because we will at some point. But for the Tejanos, yeah, they're interesting. They're like because a lot of people in the US kind of forget that like a lot of the US used to be Mexico. And so people that they think have recently emigrated into their country have probably been there since like the 16th and 17th centuries. They've been there a long time. They're Spanish settlers who lived in Texas, who lived there when it was like a part of the Mexican empire, and then continued to live there after it became part of the American empire. So they actually are pretty interesting people, like, because you could talk a lot about, is the stream down? You could talk a lot about like the interaction between like US settlers going into Mexico for those first few decades where Texas was becoming a US state. And I think that could be really interesting, but I would have to like learn more about American history, which I don't know a lot about. Okay. Let me see. Is anything happening in the chat? Okay. Let me see. Okay, we have another. Did I miss any super chats? I'm sorry if I'm missing super chats. There's a lot of text. Okay. We have a super chat from Surha. Oh, sorry about the whistle. Surha J. Kumar. I know that's not how to pronounce it. I'm gonna Surja Kumar Gunjal. Sorry for butchering that. And he's thank you for making these videos. Well, thank you for watching them. Thank you for your super chat. And thank you for like honestly the fact that people watch these videos at all still always kind of surprises me. It's insane that like there's so many people out there that want to just like learn interesting things about the world. Like, that's what I like to do. I like to just like read about random religions and people and food and how like things interact, and like the fact that there's so many of you that also enjoy that and are so kind of passionate about it is incredible. Paras Sharma says make a video on the Mauryan Empire. I already have. I made two videos on Ashoka. Geography World says, where in Ireland do you live? This is a question that's in the list somewhere, but I'll answer it now because there seems to be a lot of people asking. I'm from Dublin in Ireland, but and people are asking like, where's my accent from? Actually, let's skip to that question. It was a pretty funny question. What number is it? Okay, I can't find it. But yeah, people are asking like, where am I from in Ireland? I'm from Dublin, which is the capital of Ireland. But I'm from a place in Ireland. Let me get you some images, because someone, it made me laugh. Someone asked a question being like, where in Ireland are you from? I want to go somewhere where everyone has the accent you have and be surrounded by those people all the time. But if I show you where I'm from in Dublin, you might reconsider. So I am from a part of Dublin called Ballyfermot. Let me see if I can get this correctly. And my favorite thing about Ballyfermot, I really like. I'm not making fun of it. It's where I grew up. Let me see if I can put this up on the screen for you. if you search Ballyfermot in Google Images, you just get a picture of a bunch of crime scenes, which is, I love that. There's also, where's my friend? There's this iconic picture of my area of Dublin. One second, let me come back to me so I can find the picture and you're not just staring at Google Images results. I have a story about this picture as well. Okay. Let me put this back on the screen. If you search where I'm from in Dublin, Ballyfermot, this is one of the top images you get. And it's a guy walking his pet goat. Or is it a sheep? I think it's a sheep, actually. The weirdest thing about this image is that it's kind of well known. It's like a joke image people post all the time about Ballyfermot. But I saw this sheep before he was on the leash. When I was walking, it was years ago, and I was walking to the bus to get the bus for school at like 6:30, 7 in the morning, and a sheep runs by, like in the distance across the street, and then off somewhere else, and I couldn't see it. And I got to the bus stop, and my friend was there, and I said, I just saw a sheep fall like in the distance. And he's like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, you're very tired. But now after I saw that, it's like I've been vindication. It was a real sheep. It wasn't some sort of dream sheep that I'd imagined up. It was the iconic Ballyfermot sheep now. Okay. Oh, okay. Let me get back to that. Boop. Oops. Okay. Is that working now? Oh, I put the live stream up in the thing. That's a mistake. Okay. There's a Sachin Mishra is asking what is the meaning of Kagito, and a few of you asked that. 1 second. We're already 20 minutes in. Didn't notice that. Time flies. So the meaning of Kagito has like a bit of an interesting story. When I was thinking of names for the channel before I started it, the way I imagined it was that it was going to be kind of little robots were going to explain things. Like the character that is now like the Kagito character, the kind of smushy thing, it was originally conceived as being like a bunch of like little cogs and everything. He'd be a cute little robot and he would answer questions and everything. But then I figured out that I can't draw robots that well. So I kind of like, it was supposed to be cog, as because of the cogs of the robot, and because Kagito means I think, and it was going to be like a philosophy kind of channel. And then it kind of evolved into like, no, I'll have these cute little characters because I can draw them. And it'll just be Kagito because it sounds nice. The thought process behind it was a bit more complicated than I don't think I phrased that very well. Wait, let me do it again. When I tried to make the channel, it was going to be tiny robots made of cogs explaining philosophy. So Kagito from cogito ergo sum and I think. And then when I realized I couldn't draw little cog creatures, I could only draw little smushy creatures, I kept the name Kagito and then also moved away from the philosophy part. It was going to be religions and foods and peoples and stuff and history in general. Let me see. Oh, my chat's frozen. 1 second, guys. And gals and other people. 1 second. My mouse is frozen. Okay, now it's back. Sorry. Hidden History just says he wants to say congrats. Thank you so much. Hidden History actually has a great channel. If you want to go check out really good videos on African history, especially, their channel's great. Okay. Oh God, there's 200 people here. This is insane. This is incredible. Okay. There's one comment that says Ireland is the murder capital of the world. Is it true? No. That's not true. I don't know where you got that from. And that's a comment saying love from India. Okay, let's get back to, thank you. Let's get back to the questions. So, we have 2 questions here from Secret Pirate and from Evolved Tyrant. No, that's not the same question, sorry. From Secret Pirate. They say, so you work alone or do you have a team? So this channel started as like it was just me making videos. Back then, like it wasn't a lot of work. It was just like kind of a slideshow, so it was pretty easy to throw them together in like a week. Now, however, my girlfriend has joined the team. She kind of is. She's the researcher for a lot of the videos now and helps me a lot with the scripts and a lot of planning the videos and everything, which is super helpful because now with 2 people researching and 2 people kind of writing the videos, we can make twice as many videos because the main block we have is with the research process is what takes the longest. So with 2 people now we're putting out twice as much videos as we could. If you were paying attention, for a while there we were putting out like a video every 6-ish weeks. It was really slow. It was really stressful to try and like research everything, get all together, and then animate it in like a quick fashion so that it would be out in time. And now that there's the 2 of us putting them together, it's so much simpler. The videos like feel kind of like fresher and happier, and they're much better research because both of us can do it. That's been like probably like the best thing that happened to the channel in a long time is my girlfriend joining and helping out with that research. So it's no longer like a solo effort. Next question. What do you think of the EU and what is your real name? Actually, for real name, I'm going to write it down because it's complicated. Okay. So what do I think of the EU? I love the EU. Not as like a organization I care about. It's a bunch of old men deciding random things that I don't care about economics and trading blocks that, as me as a normal human being, I don't give a damn about. What I love the EU for is that I can just go to different European countries and just live in them without having to do anything. I've lived in Spain. I've lived in the Czech Republic. I tried to live in Germany for a while, and then I ran out of money, and then I had to go to Spain because I had no money, and Spain is cheap. And every single one of those times, I just got to arrive in the country and immediately work. And I didn't have to do any paperwork. All I had to do was get an ID, like after a few months, and it was super, super easy. It's like that part of the EU is like the part that like I actually like. I love it. The fact that we can all just move across borders is incredible, and it makes life so much easier. The fact that when I have to go like to Uruguay, for example, I can only stay there for a few months before I have to get like a residency, which is actually a problem now during coronavirus because I can't get in, and that's a pain. Where if you're from Europe, just going to random countries is super simple. The rest of it, where they make weird laws and stuff, they never actually seem to end up doing anything, so I don't really care. So here's my real name. Oh my god, my handwriting is so bad. Oh, I have misjudged this, and there's not enough room on the page. 1 second. I hope you can read this on the stream. Oh god, this is terrible. Illiterate. Okay, wait. I need to be able so I can see it. Okay, so, it's backwards. Wait. I did not see that coming. Okay, 1 second. Open this. I'm going to flip my thing so you can read it. Doodly-doodly-doo. Where is it? Transform. Oh, I can't flip it in the middle of the stream. Oh, no.
Spell it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'll spell it.
Oh, I'll spell it in the chat. I didn't think about that.
There you go.
My real name is Donal. It's an Irish name. It's spelled Domhnall. The great thing about that name is that most of those letters are completely silent. It's a super, super, super old Irish name. And even like today, if you speak Irish now, is someone saying like, Arthur M is saying that, is that in Gaeilge? Yeah, it's in Gaeilge. In English, it's Irish. It's Donal. According to the rules of pronunciation in Irish now, that name also makes no sense. It should be D-O-N-A with a little hat L. But it's the way I spell it is like from really, really long ago, like 600 to 900 AD. If you play Crusader Kings, especially the new one that just came out, you're going to see a lot of Donals, which is super weird. I think it means, let's Google what Donal means. I always forget. The ruler of the world. Let me double check that though. It could mean like badger or something. So Donal means world ruler and rules the world in Irish, or at least Old Irish. I'm not sure. That puts a lot of pressure on me, but whatever. Okay, I have some comments. I'll read them out. So, Someone saying nice name, thank you. Yeah. People at Ming China asking for when I'm making a video on Poland. Geography World saying kuna satatu. That's some Irish there. If anyone wants to learn Irish, that's how you say like how are you. Although the school I went to, I had a teacher from Donegal, which is a super rural county in the very, very top of Ireland, and they have a really, really thick accent, and they don't say kuna satatu, they say something like kiji wiltu, and it's very difficult to understand. Okay, other questions. Do you love Indian history? I do. Indian history is super underrepresented. I wish more people would cover it. The only parts of Indian history you ever see covered are kind of the Indus Valley, maybe Ashoka and the peacetime, him being a super peaceful ruler, and then nothing, British people arrive. And that's it. That's how most anyone knows about India. Even like the first two, Ashoka and the Indus Valley, that's people that care about history. Most people are just like, oh, India was around for 10,000 years. And then British people arrived, and that's when they started to learn about it. And then there was a guy called Gandhi. Whereas like India, for most of human history, alongside China, has been where most people live. Like a large part of the entire human experience took place inside India. And instead most people spend time learning about the history of like really small European countries, and they fill up most of the history books, even though an enormous amount of human experience and thought and just everything took place within India. I really wish there was more information available about it in English that was written well. A lot of it is written really badly or written kind of by more colonial people like 100 years ago. There's more now being written about it, which is great. But yeah, I love it. I've been recently trying to get into it more. It's very dense. There's a lot to learn about. The thing about India is like it's not really throughout history, it's not really one unit. It's just like all these different kinds of things going on that you have to learn about each one individually. Especially down south. Down south, it's impossible to find good information in English. Okay. We got a super chat from Killer Alien 343, who says, "What culture do you think is the most interesting?" Okay. I don't really think like any culture is like the most interesting. Obviously, the ones that are more interesting to me are the ones that I didn't kind of grow up learning about. So things like European cultures, especially the ones that are most predominant, like the powerful countries in France and England and Spain and everything, yeah, they're not as interesting because they're very similar to what I'm used to. Whereas if you learn about something in China or a lot of the cultures in Africa and South America have these extremely different ways of processing information and processing the world. I always think of it like, I read in a YouTube comment, probably the only YouTube comment that wasn't insane, of a guy, he was talking about how with the destruction of like the Americas by Europeans and like wiping out all those cultures, Earth lost like a pillar of civilization, like an entire 15,000 years of culture and thought and a way of like communicating and thinking about the world. And now I think about things like that. I'm like, oh, okay, there's these like, yeah, different wells that around the world of processing the world. Europe has like its history and how it thinks of the world, like informed by its philosophers and history. India has its own way. And so going into that kind of stuff and learning about how do Aboriginal Australians picture the world? Because it's completely different to how I picture it. And that never gets talked about. And how do like the people in ancient Peru think about the world? What do they think about nature? What do they think about what the world is made of? And like, yeah, how do they understand even basics of like maths and numbers? Certain cultures don't have a zero, certain cultures do. Certain cultures see the world as being made up of tiny little particles, others see it as being made up of like an energy that kind of fills everything. And that kind of stuff, when you kind of dive deep into it, like kind of blows your mind because you're like, oh, not all humans have an actual like software, like the same software. It's depending on culture and context and the history and everything, they come up with these entirely different ways of like building the world in their brain. And that, for me, is what's interesting to learn about other cultures. Completely forgot what the question was. What culture is most interesting? They're all interesting. You should learn about all of them if you get the chance. Go to your library. This is what I did. Go to your library, and I guarantee you, in the anthropology or history section, there is a book called peoples of the world. It's probably not the same book I read, but there's loads of these kinds of books, and it's essentially an encyclopedia of the people of the world in alphabetical order. Open it up, get a random page. Like, that's how I found out about the San people. I was just looking through the Peoples of the World book, and I was like, who are the San? And then who are the Berbers? Who are, like, these groups of people? And when you learn about that, you're like, yeah, I didn't know this entire culture existed. And it's interesting to see what their story is. Okay, other ones. I'm missing out on super chats, I'm so sorry. From Sarnash Bagetra, sorry. Your research is quite tedious. What's the niche you want to be making the videos you make over the course of time? Do you like Roy Keane, the Irish football player? Yeah, he's like he headbutts people every now and then, but like, who doesn't? And do you watch cricket? No, I don't. I don't watch cricket. I know cricket's like a really popular sport in other previously colonized, like by the British countries, but in Ireland, yeah, cricket doesn't really go down well. I actually have no idea how it works. Other than the fact that it has like large bats, I don't know how cricket works. It's like witchcraft to me. He says your research is quite tedious, and what niche do you want to make videos in? I don't really want to make videos in any niche. I just want to make videos about things that are interesting and help kind of form different ways of looking at the world. That's why I do it on like foods. It's not because like, oh, I really like chocolate, let's make a video about chocolate. It's like, oh, chocolate is like a historical event. They discovered it went places. How was that received? How do they deal with this new thing? How did it spread around the world? And how did it change people's lives? By just being like a nice thing to eat. Something like coffee, which is like basically the bean that gives you energy, literally like influence the lives of millions of people in good and in horrific ways. Okay. Let's see. Fact Plaza says, which country watches you the most? It's the United States, and then India. And then Canada? Maybe Australia? I feel bad now because I see Padma Hamath is asking a question, and it just says, I want to be answered, but I don't know what the question is. And then Aaron Sen-Gupta says, what happened to the Maurya Empire after Ashoka? I did the research for that video maybe 2 years ago. So from what I remember, I could not be completely correct, his son or maybe nephew, I'm not sure if he had an heir, continued like ruling the empire for a while, couldn't rule it as well, and then there was a coup by a different family. They overtook it, and within like 50 years of Ashoka's death, like the empire was completely gone. And that was like for like another 2,000 years, 1,700 years, India wouldn't be like united under most of India because Ashoka never got to the south, wouldn't be united under one government for like a long time. Oh, Crazy Cody's Creations has a super chat. Crazy Cody is a patron and has a great video full of carpinchos, which are these kind of like giant South American rodents, and they're adorable and everyone should love them. Oh, I didn't read his question. So he left $5 and he says, what is your favorite animal and why is it the capybara? So the capybara is the same animal as what I just said, carpincho, but in Uruguay it's called a carpincho. Yeah, they're great. I didn't know that these things existed until I went to Uruguay. And then we went to like a wildlife farm or something. I forget what it was. And it had alpacas and it had carpinchos there. And they're incredible looking things. They're like, I'm not sure how to describe them. They're a rodent, but they're enormous. And they're super friendly and soft looking and like very timid. And yeah, you should go watch videos on carpinchos. There's loads of them, especially on Crazy Cody channel. Okay, so. Oh, there's so many questions coming in. 1 second, let me try and get the next question on the list. Chaos. This is chaos. Okay. Devang Leah says, congrats on 150,000 subscribers. I've watched some of your videos on religions and they seem very well researched. What is your process on doing research for such videos? How long does it take? And do you have a background in religious studies? Okay. Let me double check. So, yeah, the research process we do for the videos is kind of intense. We're trying to work on it because a lot of the times we do a lot more work than actually needs to be done. As in, we're doing a video on, say, what was the last one that I went really overboard? On tea, okay? If we're doing a video on tea, And what we first do is we kind of read the Wikipedia page, because that gives you kind of a broad, not super in-depth, but broad overview of the topic. So history of tea. And then we'll go to the references in Wikipedia and we'll see all the books and references that are there. And what I'll try and do is I'll try and jot down the names of the authors who kind of pop up a lot, either in books and by doing articles and stuff, because those are the people who are going to be the experts in the field. So then we'll read some articles that are there as references, and then we'll read the books. So for tea, we got like 6 or 7 like full-size books. They all have very similar names. Like one was like Tea, Drink of Empire, Tea, Empire of Drink. They all had super similar names. It was annoying. And we'll get all those books. And then we'll read them and take notes of all the information those books have on the entire topic. And we'll store all those notes in a giant Google Doc so that we don't miss out on anything. And another important thing to do here is like when we're putting all these notes together, we'll label them by who they're from, the author they're from, the book they're from. And that way we can compare and contrast what the different authors and everything are saying, so we can see if they conflict or anything, which is a good way of finding out like if source information isn't actually coming from a good source. But these docs do be like 100,000 pages. I remember for the San, the Bushman video, the Google Doc had 166,000 words in it. Not 100,000 pages, sorry, 100,000 words. And yeah, Sam one had 166,000 words because it was just clippings from these books and these articles and everything. And then we have to read through that again and cut it down. So we're trying to work on that process. And by doing that, we hope that we don't miss anything and that we can see which authors aren't reliable, because we can see if what they're saying is being backed up by the other authors and by other articles. And then we get all that, those 100,000-ish words, and we break them down into like a 10,000 word proto script. And then we'll cut that script down to 2,000 words. And then once that's done, we'll go through that whole script line by line. And whenever we say something that's like a fact or a number or a statistic or so-and-so said this in so-and-so time, we'll go back to the sources and make sure that like at least 2 of the sources say that that's true. And then we'll try and find out where that source got their information from. So that's why it takes like 2 weeks to get scripts ready. Like it takes a week of like 10-hour days reading books, and then another week to write the script and fact check it. So yeah, that's how long does it take. It takes about 2 weeks from the beginning of an idea to like a finished script. Wait, someone said in the chat, one sec. He's Irish, not British. Yes, I'm Irish. No, not British. That's a hate crime. Okay. Geography World donated €1. Thank you so much. You should I know Geography World. I've spoken to you on Twitter a few times, and I think you're from Cork, is it? The Republic of Cork. But thank you so much for that super chat. Okay, I'm gonna see what's going on in the chat because I haven't looked at it in a while, and I want to see if people there's like a theme. Geography World asks, what other YouTube channels do you watch? Okay, this is a great question because I love YouTube. For me, it's such a great place. Like, it's full of so many creative people. This month, actually for the last 6 months, I've been watching a lot of Johnny Harris videos. He used to do, I think he still does, Borders, the series on Vox. And his channel is excellent. And his wife's channel as well, Is Harris, is also really good. Educational videos, I love Sweeney. Sweeney has probably the best educational channel, especially animation-wise. His videos are great. It's SUIBHNE. Brilliant stuff. Really great. Who else? It's always hard to remember these things on like on the fly. Okay. I'm just gonna check my previously watched videos actually, because I love recommending other YouTube channels because they deserve recognition. Step Back History is a channel I've watched for years as well. Let me see. Wonder Why, he's also great. Sarah Zed is a great channel that does kind of like media analysis that I'm really into at the moment. Who else is here? Jack Rackham is another great history channel. He does these really, really, really funny, like fast edited like biographies of people that are just brilliant. I'm always jealous of how funny he is. His videos always make me laugh. Who else is there? I don't want to take too long doing this though, but yeah, those are some good recommendations. I should probably write a list of channels I really like. So I remember. Oh, there's a new channel called Drawn of History. It's run by an older channel called Mr. Betts Class, and it's new. He just did a video on the Black Death, and it's hilarious and like super well animated. For the first video on our channel, it's incredible looking. If you like things like overly simplified, that channel, you'll love Drawn of History. Okay. Oh, and someone mentioned overly sarcastic productions. They're also great. They do great stuff. Someone says Geography Now. Geography Now is also great. Okay, let me see. Cork, why are you awesome? I don't know. Darth Vader X 123 says, "Are you a full-time YouTuber?" I am. Yeah. So me and my girlfriend both work on the channel. I pointed over there because she's on the other side of the room and she's going to yell if anything goes wrong in the chat. Both of us work full-time on this channel now. But I went full-time on YouTube like 2 years ago, like maybe 2.5, I forget. Because I used to work for, if you know the channel Kings and Generals, I don't know why this came out, but yeah, I used to work full-time for the channel Kings and Generals as their animator, and I would animate like, they did 2 videos a week and I would do one of them, the ones on Thursdays. So yeah, I started doing YouTube full-time then, and then that gave me time to also work on my own channel, which was handy. And then, yeah, so I've been like a full-time YouTuber since I had like 15,000 subscribers. And I was broke for a long time because of that. But it was worth it. Okay, let me see the chat. I really like this. I'm like, no one has mentioned it, I think. But I put this little chat on the side here, and it's really fancy. And it took me like several minutes of learning to do. Okay. Let's see. Sir, is that an octopus picture? Oh, I don't know. Oh, on the wall. No, I think it's a peacock actually. This isn't my house, by the way. It's I didn't break into someone's house or anything. But my internet in my house is really slow, and I wanted it to be really good for the live stream. So I'm in an Airbnb, so you can get like good quality video. This is why this pint glass is really bad and doesn't have enough to fill up like a whole pint of Guinness. In my own home, that would never happen because this is atrocious. You can't be having these kinds of like small glasses when you want to have like a proper pint. Okay. Geography World says, "What's your flavor of potatoes?" Just the original. Are there more than one flavor of potato in a sandwich? In a sandwich is the best way of eating potatoes. Nitu Shri Vastava says, "Are you safe from COVID? AKA, is Ireland safe?" I'm pretty safe from COVID. Yeah, I wear a mask every time I go outside, and I have the hand alcohol and everything. And when people cough on me, I don't let them. Ireland's pretty safe too. Ireland got lucky because like it's an island, and the government reacted like with relatively decent like restrictions and stuff. So it hasn't been too bad. Well, no, for the people who were killed by it, obviously it was very bad. But it's better than, say, the US or something, or Brazil, which is handy. Okay. Wait, is the live chat okay? I can barely notice it. It's good? Yeah? Okay. Am I missing super chat?
It's just going super fast.
Oh, okay. Okay, I missed the super chat here. So from Sarnash I'm so sorry. Sarnash Bag Etra. Are you an atheist, and were you inspired by John Green Cash Course? I could say I'm an atheist. I don't have any religion. I think I spoke about this earlier, but I'm not like an atheist and like I identify as an atheist. I just don't identify as any religion. And were you inspired by John Green's Cash Course? Yeah, I super was. The thing that really wanted me to make, the thing that inspired me to make this channel a lot was Crash Course World History. I remember when I was like first, like in 18, 19, when I was first living like outside of like my parents, when I was living by myself, not by myself, I lived with like 20 other people in a crappy house, but when that was happening, I remember every single day the Crash Course videos would come out on a Friday, and I remember I couldn't afford that much food because I was super broke, so I would buy like a package of ramen, make that, and then sit down with this ramen, which is like the only meal of the day, and then watch Crash Course as it came out, as if it was some massive event. Okay. Jeremy Riviera says, don't really have any questions, but love your stuff. Like, thanks, that's great. Sorry, I'm missing so many questions. Okay. Are you going to make a video about two nations or religions, how they influence? That's a good question. That's from Jordan Dimitrov. He's saying, or they're saying, are you going to make a video about two nations or religions and how they influence each other? I kind of have a video on that. It's What is the West? And it's a video about the kind of East and West and how we use those words. It didn't turn out as well as I would like. It's a really old video. But yeah, I would love to do like maybe an Orthodox Christianity and a Christianity video, or Sunni and Shia, or even maybe like Christianity and Islam and how they influence each other's history and how they're kind of vital to each other, because their identity for a lot of history was, I'm not those people and those people aren't me, kind of thing. So that would be a really cool video to make. But I'm not sure, the research for it would be a nightmare, because I'd have to do essentially a whole video worth of research on one of the religions or peoples, and then a whole video's worth of research on the other one. So it would probably take like a month or something. And people asking if we have a Discord. Yeah, we have a Discord. If you go to Patreon, it's like the first reward. Actually, I'll talk about Patreon actually, because I've never done a video about it, because I don't know how to. I don't know how to go and be like, give me money. It just feels weird. But we have a Patreon. Everyone who supports us on there is incredible. I'm always kind of like blown away by it. The way we set it up is that the cheapest Patreon tier, I think it's $3, gives the vast majority of the rewards. Because I don't want to keep things from people who want to support the channel. I want to and get everyone involved, especially because a lot of people don't have extra money to give away. And I don't want to make them or make people feel compelled. But to do that, that's still something I kind of feel awkward about. I have to deal with it. But yeah, so the majority of the rewards are on the first tier. And the way I think it should be set up is that, yeah, if you join, you get most of the rewards. And the people who pay the higher tiers, because they can, or because they feel like they want to give that much money, they kind of, in a kind of like, very like, in Ireland it's called being really sound. So it's the essence of soundness, as I would call it. They kind of pay for the people that can't pay. So the people that donate like $20 not only get like their $3 worth of rewards, but they pay for, yeah, like another 5 or so people who couldn't pay. And I think that's really cool about Patreon, is that it lets me kind of have an income, but also other people who can't afford are kind of covered by the people that can afford more, which is great. Okay. Mysterious says, do you know about the Ahom kingdom? Sorry, I don't. Rishab Dev says, make a video on Vedic India. Definitely, 100%. Vedic India, super cool. Love it. One of the most like interesting periods in world history is you see like it's super warm in here. You see Indian culture kind of formulate all at once. Not all at once, obviously it predates it a lot. But you see like the core parts of Indian culture being formed in this one period, which is super cool. I also want to make videos in the south of India as well. PHS saying $3 is a lot for Indians. Yeah, it is. I understand that. I understand that for people from countries with currencies that aren't as strong as, say, the euro and the dollar and the pound, yeah, it's ridiculous. Buying things online is a pain in the ass. I know this because I've lived in Uruguay, where like 50 Uruguayan pesos is a euro. And so paying for anything not manufactured in Uruguay, the same in Brazil or the same in India, it makes things extra expensive. You earn less and the currency isn't worth as much. So it's a pain in the ass and it's not fair. I wish there was a way to like, I don't know, yeah, I wish, maybe it does. I'll check actually if Patreon allows you to charge different amounts depending on the strength of the currency. But I'll have to look into that. Someone say, please sing Rocky Road to Dublin. Oh God, no. Great song, but no. Make a video on ancient Egypt. I already have made one about Hatshepsut, the female, not first female pharaoh, one of the greatest pharaohs of Egypt who happened to be a woman and who used that in an incredible way. We already made that video. But I will make a general video in the same way I did about the Indus about ancient Egypt. Oh man, it is so bloody warm in here. I'm going to take this off 1 second. Okay. More videos. Oh, what's this? 1 second here, sorry. I'm just trying to figure out what just happened with the stream. So I can't see the full name there. I just got a super chat from, it's not showing me your full name. I can only see Subham and then 3 dots. But thank you so much for, that's 1,000 rupees. I'm not sure what the conversion on that is, but thank you so much. It doesn't say a question, but you sent me a sticker of what looks like a doge wearing samurai clothes. And that's better than any question ever could be. Let me see. My chat's frozen. So I'm going to go to the next question here. This is from Soggy Waffles. He asked tea or coffee. I already answered that. He also says, what's your favorite sports team? I don't know any sports. Venga Boys? Are they a sports team? I'm going to go with Venga Boys. And can you do a video on Aztec religion? Definitely, 100%. Aztec religion is like kind of up there on like the things I want to cover because no one knows anything about it. No one even really considers it to be one of the religions you learn about. It's obviously not still practiced, but it has the Aztec religion has this. I'm in the middle of this really big book. It's like this size, although it's on a Kindle, so it's Kindle size, but data-wise, it's large. It's like a book on Aztec religion and philosophy. And one of the super cool things I learned from reading it is that the Aztecs have a super similar concept to like the Tao, which was covered in the last video. And they call it, I think it's Teo, or it's Aztec, so it's probably like Teoatl. But it's very similar to the Tao. It's like infinite but empty power that is in the entire universe and gives life to everything. And every single living thing and non-living thing has this energy in it. And there's a limited amount, and the energy bounces in between living things and everything. It's super cool. And still reading the book. It's not a page turner or anything. It takes a while to get through this thing. But yeah, it's super interesting. I want to make a video on it. Mysterious says, do you like maths? No, I don't. I can't do maths at all. I'm super bad at it. In school, it was just painful. Once we got to the part that had anything except plus and minus I was out. John Gaynor says, greetings from Rain Dundalk. Did you study history in college or something different? He did a $5 super chat. Thank you so much. I did study, this is a little bit embarrassing, but I studied history, English, and philosophy in university for about 7 weeks before I dropped out. Actually, originally I was studying English, history, and law because my idea was that I wanted to become like a human rights lawyer in the UN. I'm not even sure if that's a real job, but like I had this image in my head of like, oh, I'm gonna be the person that when there's a disaster, they send in, he does all the law work for the people who need laws. But yeah, university just didn't really agree with me. I didn't like it. I went to a university in Ireland called Maynooth. I just, didn't like it. Okay. Ian Ryan says, make videos on, actually, can you see my cursor on the screen? No, you can't. Okay, doesn't matter. So I can point to questions. Maybe can I add a cursor? Because that would help me point out on the chat, like, where, no, okay. That's a pain. Doesn't matter. Okay. He says, make a video on extinct civilizations. I made a video on the Indus Valley civilization. They're extinct, like somewhat, like their culture is still prevalent, not prevalent, but like in Indian culture. But them as a society is broken down. So I can't, again, this YouTube won't show me the full name of a lot of the people that have longer names, who just did another 1,000 rupee super chat with a sticker of what looks like a pear riding a rocket into the clouds. And I think your name is, it only says Siddharth, but I'm going to assume it says Siddhartha, like the Buddha's name. But thank you so much for that super chat. That's great. I'm like those things, those are incredible. I love those things. Okay, no other questions from the chat. Oh, wait. So Padma Hemath, I only ever see your questions that say, I didn't get an answer still. I am out, peace. Okay, sorry, I can't see your question. I only ever see you. Oh, and Sammy Orr says that the energy that the Aztecs believe is in everything is called Teotl. Teotl. Okay. I think it's freezing, doesn't matter. Next question. We're going to be here for a while until we answer all the questions, so like, don't worry. If you have questions, like I'll get to them at some point. Just keep posting them until I see them, essentially. Don't spam, because we'll block you if you spam, or time you out. But like, instead of saying, oh, you didn't answer my question, maybe be like, you didn't answer my question, and then copy and paste the question. So when I see you say it wasn't answered, I'll see the question. Jim Pennon says it would be neat if you can make videos on language isolates like Basque and Ayanu. That would be super cool. Yeah, there's a lot of language isolates that the languages themselves are interested in, and figuring out how they became language isolates like Basque in the middle of Europe is like not connected to any other language is super cool. Okay. Shailendra Kunwar says, I just joined this live. Can you tell me when you will upload next video? The next video should be up in like, let's say, finishing the script in the next few days. Should take like a week and a bit to animate it. I'm not sure. I want to do some interesting things with it, so it could take a few more days. Let's say 2 weeks. 2-ish weeks. Maybe less. Probably not more. Maybe less than 2 weeks. Rahul Pal says history of maths. Definitely, we're going to do history of maths. Mostly because I also want to cover like Mayan discovery of the number 0 and then the Indian discovery of the number 0 and how they're completely separate and like these enormous accomplishments. I think that would be really cool in the history of maths. I'm probably going to have to get help on that one because I don't understand any numbers above 10, especially if you have to plus them with other numbers. So I'll probably get help on that. I don't know what an algebra is. Gopi Sumath says, which software do you use to create videos? There was a lot of questions on this, actually. I don't think I included them here, but there was a lot of questions in this, and it was... One second. Okay. I drank too much once.
Okay.
Cringe. Okay. Okay. And I'm dying. Okay. I forgot what the question was there. Oh no, I feel bad. 1 second. Let me scroll back up and get there. Oh, wait, okay. Where? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have Mr. Bet's question on screen. Mr. Bet is the channel that now makes Drawn of History, which you should go check out. What's the most obscure Easter egg you've hidden in a video? I have by far the worst Easter eggs on YouTube. I don't understand why I put them in, because no one ever gets them, and they shouldn't because they're super dumb. I'm going to bring up a video on screen, actually, I'm not sure which videos they're in. They're in a lot of the older videos. I think Buddhism has it. For some reason, I thought it would be a cool Easter egg to put the island from King Kong, in the Pacific Ocean. Because I was like, oh yeah, the island from King Kong. I've never even seen King Kong. I don't even know why I thought that would be a good idea. It's in the middle of the Pacific in the Buddhism video. No one's ever gotten it. Everyone is just asking, why is there a giant island there? Another weird Easter egg was if you've ever played Age of Mythology, the games, I put the island of Atlantis next to Spain, how it is in the game. Yeah, I don't know what I was doing. Other fun ones, obscure ones, if you look at older videos, maybe from like 6-ish months ago and before, on the bookshelf behind me, there's random titles of books. Like one of them is 50 Shades of CGP Grey is there. And then a few other random names and stuff. The most prevalent Easter eggs, though, are probably the sound effects. If you've ever played the Age of Empires games, there's a lot of Age of Empires sound effects in all the videos. Whenever a Kagito character dies, they play like the villager death sound. And whenever I talk about a city popping up or the cities on the maps, it will play like the town center sound. I like those ones. Those are my favorite. I have a whole collection of Age of Empires sounds on my computer now that I like to use. Someone's like, oh yeah, the software. That's the question I was answering. Thank you. The software I used to make before I choked. The software I was using to make the videos is Adobe After Effects. So Adobe After Effects is what I use to animate the characters. So that's how you make them move. That's how I do all of the animations. I essentially make everything in After Effects because I don't understand the other program, Adobe Premiere. I just use that to render the videos. To draw everything, I have a little tablet I draw on called a Wacom. Intuos, it's the one it doesn't have a screen or anything. It's just like a little thing you draw on, and I draw into a program called Adobe Illustrator, and that's how I make all the little characters. So I hope that answered your question. If you want to learn, actually, I'll go next. Is it the next question? Wait, I'll go. Yeah, this one. How do you do all the animations? How do you learn how to do animations? If you want to learn how to animate, it's easier now than it's ever been. You can just go on YouTube, you can Google After Effects, how to do insert thing you want to do, how to make characters' arms move, how to make characters' legs move, how to mix scenes, how to fade in, fade out. You can learn all of it. There's also motion design school has courses on it. I haven't done them. They're kind of expensive, but you can do them there. But you can learn most things. I learned everything on YouTube and on Skillshare. Other things you can learn on. I downloaded the book on how to learn After Effects. I never opened it though. Downloading it maybe helped. Someone says Adobe Illustrator is awesome. Adobe Illustrator is awesome. Photoshop, I don't understand at all. It's stupid. It's made by demons. I don't even get me started on Photoshop. Okay. After Effects is amazing. History of Bollywood. I might make a tutorial on how to do educational videos because I know a lot of you want to make them, and I'll see if I can help with that. I'll make it a tutorial for you guys at some point for you all, for you peoples. Okay. History on Bollywood. I'd love to make a history of Bollywood, but I don't know anything about Bollywood. I'd have to research it, and I have to see if there's an interest in that as well. I should also try Adobe Animate. Yeah, I should. But I don't. The thing is, because we try and make these videos as fast as possible for you, it kind of puts us a deadline where we can't really put that much time into learning new tools. I try and have a day a week where I sit down and I watch 10 different tutorials and try and learn those skills to put them in the next video. But yeah, learning a whole other program would be a mess. Hopefully I get the time. We'll see if we can get ahead of schedule at some point, and I'll take that time to do some courses and learn other programs. Could you do a video on the history of martial arts? I will. Yeah, definitely. Okay, I think I missed some questions here. I'm going to go back. Oh, I missed the super chat. Okay. Let me double check. Okay.
She says, what
do you think?
made you start doing religion videos?
Okay. What's the name?
Roman pagan?
Okay, I'll see if I can find it once.
Pagan?
Oh, I see it. So Roman Pagan says, what made you start doing religion videos? And that was a $5 super chat, so thank you for that. So sorry that I'm so bad at finding them. The chat goes really fast. The reason I started doing religion videos is because I personally was interested in them. I think the first one we did was Buddhism, and I made it on a whim because I was like, I don't know anything about Buddhism. It's this huge religion that I know nothing about. I should probably learn a little bit. And then, learning about that was super interesting. And I was like, I didn't know any of these things about Buddhism. I didn't know all these cultural aspects that have affected most of South Asia and East Asia because of Buddhism. And so then I applied that to Hinduism as well. I was like, again, Hinduism has 1 billion people following it. And all I know is that I know that gods had a lot of arms. Essentially, when I started learning about Hinduism, all I knew was that some of the gods had lots of arms. And then I dived in, read some books, watched some of the Mahabharata TV show from I don't know when it is, 80s, 90s, which was great. I love that. And religions, learning about them, you're not just learning about rules and beliefs and gods and stuff. You kind of you soak up a lot of the culture of the peoples that follow that religion. If you learn about Hinduism, you're going to learn a lot about Indian culture. And the same with Buddhism. You're going to learn a lot of Southeast Asian, East Asian, South Asian culture, which is great. Same with the Judaism video. I didn't know anything about Judaism other than random bits and bobs. And then, learning about it was super interesting. I learned about how Jewish-style foods moved across Europe and into America. I learned about the different types. There was Ashkenazi and Sephardim, which I didn't know about before. And that was super cool. Rostam 1369 says, are you going to finish the Byzantium series? I really hope so. No. That series it's over now. It's been over for a while now. I'm not making any more videos on that. I don't think it worked that well on my channel. There was a point in the series where I was like, I don't think it suits the animation style. I don't think it suits how I want to make videos. The series of small videos didn't work. But I like your name. I think your name is named after I don't want to say the ethnicity because I could be wrong. A Middle Eastern warrior in Persia, in Iran maybe? But cool name. Okay. So, Niha Gongwecker says, we love your animations, very cute. Thank you. I try and make the animations as cute as possible. Sometimes I even have a little crisis where I'm like, oh, how can I make this part of the little Kagito character cuter. And then sometimes I run into problems because I'm like, oh, we're doing a history in the video of coffee and there's loads of slaves. Should the slaves and all of like the bad things be cute? But yeah, I really I like that everyone thinks the characters are cute. I do my best to try and make them as cute as possible. Prodromos says, can you make a video on ancient Greece? I will, definitely. Okay. Ryan Supan says, what do you think about Ancestry and DNA? I met a fourth Irish cousin that I found. We had matching DNA. I don't know. I don't have any real opinions on Ancestry and DNA. I know a lot of people are really into like where, especially in countries where people have settled, like in all of the Americas, where you have all these mostly immigrant countries. People are kind of obsessed, like, oh, I'm Irish because of the second generation, or I'm third generation Italian, or all that kind of stuff. And I can see how if you're in a settler kind of country, that kind of connection to another place can be important, but I don't know, it's not something I really understand or like have that many opinions on. Sorry about that. Humankind says, from where you source the information, do you consult experts in those fields in addition to books/internet? We source most of the information from books. We always try and go to books before we go to like articles or even just like random, like we'll never base any information off something we can't find in at least one of the books that we're reading. And normally it's always like we need two sources. That's one of the rules we use. Two of the sources have to say this exact thing. And that's, we try and base most of it off that. A lot of the times we'll use like research papers on like JSTOR, which, you know, you don't actually have to like, you can get them for free. A lot of information you can get for free. I'm not gonna like tell you you have to go spend like hundreds of euros getting information. You can go to websites and you can get that stuff for free. So anyone can go learn these things. And we'll try and use research papers and books most of the time. Consulting experts, in the future I do want to start consulting experts, but at the minute, like the workflow we have doesn't really have space for it. But yeah, in the future, definitely. Okay, so next question. Hope I didn't miss any in the thing. Where did you learn to animate? I learned to animate on YouTube. What's the favorite video you've made on this channel? Oh, this could be cool actually. If everyone just wants to like comment what their favorite video on the channel is, that would be super useful to know. For me personally, my favorite video is probably like the San Bushman one, the San, like the Southern African people. For me, like the research on that was so fun, and like I kind of got really lost in it. It's definitely the hardest video to write the script on because I had so much information. I read about the San, and then I started reading about all of the research that's been done on the San, and then I started reading about like this family called the Marshalls who went from America with all this money, and they started living with the San and traveling around with them, and they did all this kind of ethnological research and got all these things on them. And I read all the books by that family on them. And then I started watching documentaries by that family going back to the San after like being away from 50 years and how like their way of life was completely destroyed. And then I started learning how to do like the clicks in San words. I completely got lost in it. But yeah, that's my favorite video. Let's see if are you posting? Someone says Taoism, history of tea. Yeah, I really love the history of tea video as well. That was great. Australian farmers, I really love that video as well. That was really, really good. Coffee, loved it. I know I'm saying I love that. I made the videos, but some of them do kind of stick with you more than others. Arjav says, what country am I from? I'm from Dublin, Ireland. I wish I could. A lot of people are asking that, but other people seem to be answering it. Okay. Next question. Geography World says, how many countries have you been to and how many languages do you speak? Congrats on 150,000 subscribers. Yeah, now we're at 215,000, which is kind of insane. I have been to, let me think. I actually haven't been to as many countries as I'd like to have been to, especially like around the world. My travels have mostly been confined to South America and Europe. So I've been to like most of the Western European countries. Ireland, the UK, Portugal, Spain, France, Belgium, Netherlands, Germany, and Czech Republic and Italy. Then I've been to Morocco, and then I've also been to Costa Rica, Mexico, the US.
It's like 22 or something.
Yeah, I think I've been to like 22 countries, and then Bolivia, Chile, Argentina, Uruguay, and Brazil. So that's most of it. I'm dying to go somewhere further either south or east. Like I want to go somewhere in Africa that isn't North Africa because I've already been to Morocco, even though it's not the same as the other ones, but you know what I mean. Maybe somewhere like Namibia would be super cool. And then somewhere in Asia, India, obviously, China I'd really like to go to, Japan, and I was going to say North Korea. I meant South Korea. Yeah, something like that. And then obviously like New Zealand or something, because I want to see some hobbits. Okay. Someone's saying Who Are the Berbers of North Africa is my favorite. That's one of my favorite videos as well, actually, because it came out of nowhere. I just randomly read about the Berbers, and I said, oh, I should make a video about this. It'd be cool. Medium D Speak says, oh God, Kagito, your Aboriginals video literally got me laid, I swear. That's good to hear. It's good to hear. Yeah, you're welcome, I guess. That's great. Did not expect that. Did not expect that. Okay. Solomon Ona says, come to Nigeria. Love to go to Nigeria. Nigerian food is apparently supposed to be delicious. And I had a co-worker who used to live in Nigeria. He says they have great beaches there. I can't really go to a beach because I'm like this. But I'd love to go to a beach with an umbrella and just take it all in. Or Vietnam. Someone says Vietnam. Love to go to Vietnam as well. Vietnam is like top of my list. Places to go. Can't believe I forgot that. Okay. Okay, next question. In your opinion, what's the best video you would recommend from this channel to share? So if you guys are looking to, or if you're looking to recommend this channel to other people or friends, family, Reddit, Twitter, whatever you want, the religion videos tend to be the ones that people get introduced to the channel more. Something like the Hinduism video or the Zoroastrianism video seem to bring a lot of people in. So I would recommend you recommend those ones. Or Tea or Coffee as well bring a lot of people in. But yeah, whatever your favorite one is, I can't know. Jaws Whedon says, any historically successful way to break an affected population out of a cult? Yeah, there's super known ways to do it. One of the main ways people break out of cults is to literally just get them in a different environment for like a few days. When we were reading about the cults, one of the main things they mentioned was like a lot of times if you break a leg, for example, and you're in a cult and you go to the hospital, the cult probably won't let you go to the hospital, but you've managed to be brought to a hospital. That will break you out of the cult super fast because you're going to have all these nurses, these doctors, maybe some friends and family will come see you in the hospital, and they kind of break this spell of you thinking the entire world is out to get you and only the cult cares. Because what will happen is you'll get all this attention and affection from the world and the cult normally, because you're useless now, your leg's broken, you can't provide anything to the cult now. The cult will drop you until you're healthy again. So something like taking people out of a cult can be as simple as just getting them in a different environment, or even like bring them out for pints or something. Like, yeah, a lot of times just breaking the isolation gets people out of it really easily. Let me see. Derek 091, I think it's a 1, says, so to see if I respect you as a person, do you like plain Pringles or sour cream and onion? Plain anything, any crisps or any potato product that is plain flavor is ridiculous and wrong. Original flavor? No, you can't be doing that. Sour cream and onion is nice. Your breath kind of stinks afterwards, but it's really nice. And yeah, exactly. If you're gonna eat any kind of crisp, why are you eating Pringles? Tato is the only acceptable crisp. Maybe King. I'm not sure if there's King in other countries. King is okay. Maybe you're going to like a 5th cousin's birthday party, they might have King. You can't disrespect them for it, but Okay. Sonny D says, with a $5 super chat, thank you so much, could you do a video on casteism and Dalits? I would love to do a video diving further into like the caste system or the Varna system in India, because there's a lot of like misinformation about it. People don't really understand it. It has like a really long history and it's evolved quite a bit over time. In certain times it's been stricter and certain times it's been looser, and I would love to dive deep into that. So yeah, expect a video about that at some point. Siddhartha Singh, I can see your full name now actually, and another super chat, thank you so much, says video on opium trade and wars and why I can't see the full thing there, dropped from the why the two dots dropped from the channel name. Yeah, we're definitely going to do a video on opium because opium has had a huge effect on world history, and it's just insane the fact that as an Irish person, I don't really have a very high level of appreciation for the British Empire, but some people do think it was a good thing. Insane people, but some people do. And the Opium Wars super show that it wasn't like a good empire. None of them are. Because it was a giant drug dealing enterprise. And it's just weird when you say the world's largest empire was a massive drug dealer just so they could buy some tea. And so yeah, I super want to do a video just on opium and the Opium Wars. Oh, and I dropped the 2 dashes that used to be on the side of the name because I don't know, I did it originally so that if I commented in people's videos, people would see my name and maybe click the channel. But now that's not a big deal. And I thought it maybe was affecting how the channels came up in search or something, so I just got rid of it. Medium D Speaks says, what on earth is King? King is a brand of crisps in Ireland. There's 2 big brands of crisps, and it's the worst one. Okay. So Rahul Pal says, how dare you hate potato? It's fuel industrial. I do not hate potatoes. That is a massive misunderstanding. That actually really hurt. Potato love only from me. I've already made a video entirely based on Native American crops, and the potato was a huge part of it. But I'm planning like a potato trilogy. I'm planning the Lord of the Rings, but of potatoes. At some point in the channel's history. So no, potato love. Okay. Soggy Waffle says, can you please do a video about rice? Definitely. Any of those big crops are getting videos. Okay. S and who says video about the oldest living language, Tamil. I have a good amount of videos planned for the Tamil language and for the Tamil kings and Tamil history. So don't worry about that. That's coming at some point. I have to do a lot of research. Sly Dog Amigo says face reveal when? No. Okay. Next question. Maggie X says, is being an educator on YouTube your career, or is it just something on the side? No, it's my whole, I wouldn't say career, but it's my full-time job. It's me and my girlfriend's full-time job. We run this channel together. It gives us all our potato money. What's your favorite meme? Oh, wait, okay, 1 second. Okay, this is important. I set up a whole thing in my software just so I could show you this meme. Where is he? There he is. It's so perfect. Just looking at it, I already love it. Okay. Okay. I'm going to transfer it over on the screen now. This hamster with this cross is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. It is perfect. Why is the hamster so startled? Why did someone Photoshop a cross into its hand? Although, it works perfectly still. I love it. I love it so much. Okay, I went back on the wrong thing. Oops. Oh, questions. In the questions back. I'm so bad at live streaming. Okay. Another one. Okay, another. I'm just going to share all my favorite memes. Let me see if I can. Oh, can I play sound without destroying everyone's ears? Hope this doesn't Okay. Let me see. Oh, okay. This is a video one, and I'm not going to play it because I'm afraid it's going to just blast everyone's speaker because I don't know how the sound works properly. But it's called Mr. Bubs, so write it down if you want, and go watch the Mr. Bubs video after this. It is magical and majestic in every way. Favorite Enya song? Favorite Enya song is what's the song? What's the Enya song? Sail Away. Sail Away is a banger. It is an absolute banger. Enya's castle, actually, Enya, if you don't know, Enya has a castle. I assume it's guarded by like crossbowmen, but I can't be certain. She has a castle here in Dublin. Keep meaning to go look at it because it's weird. Okay, let me see. Velik Vic says, please answer. Do you know about Romuva? It's a neo-pagan movement in Lithuania. I don't know anything. I don't know anything about... No, don't... That's... I know things. Some things. I don't know anything about Romuva. Or even any of the neo-pagan kind of... I should stop going backwards. Any of the neo-pagan new religious movements, I don't know much about them. I want to make a video about them at some point, but I haven't looked into them that much yet. T.T says, anything from Central Asia planned? Yeah. Not for like the near future, but at some point I want to make a video on a lot of the Silk Road cities in Central Asia, like Samarkand, and a lot of the kind of the people who are kind of in between, let's say, like China and Iran and kind of like Eastern Europe. A lot of those kind of Central Asian peoples have like an insane history that no one knows anything about that I'd love to cover. Vanessa Small says, favorite site in Ireland, favorite Irish whiskey. My favorite place in Ireland, other than Dublin, is, I'm not sure if you're from Ireland, but I'll show you a picture of it in a minute. It's called Ben Bulben. It's this insane looking, it's in a mountain, or like it's a plateau in County Sligo. And I remember I went on like a trip there. Me and my girlfriend went on a trip there in a car. The car part wasn't relevant. We drove there, and it's just one of those things that when you see it, especially because it was in my own country and I never saw it before, kind of like, yeah, it kind of blows you away. I'll see if I can get an image of it. Obviously, if you're from a country with more dramatic geography, this isn't going to be as mind-blowing, but let me see if I can show it to you. This is, one second. 1080p. What are these SD images being sent to me? No. Look at this. Okay, I'm going to transfer it to the window. Can you see that there? Hopefully it came up on the screen. This is Ben Bulben, this very flat-looking mountain. And there's nothing really like this else in Ireland. And I remember seeing it for the first time, and it just blew me away. And then it comes up a lot in like Irish mythology. Irish mythology has this group of warriors, kind of warrior heroes called the Fina. And a lot of their mythology takes place on the top of this mountain as like a hunting ground. And the fact that like, as a kid, I learned about the Fina playing on this kind of mythical mountain, and then being able to go and see the mountain was great. Yeah, it was one of those really surreal experiences. I never actually got to go. I'm pretty sure you can go on top or get close to it. We didn't get close to it because we parked in the wrong place and we got lost in some farmer's field. But other than that, it was great. Okay, sorry, I missed a super chat. So let me go back to the thingy. From Gary Dodge, he says, howdy from Montana. Oh, we're just talking about really flat mountains, and someone from Montana shows up. Thank you so much for your super chat. Geography World says Ben Bulben is Ireland's only table mountain. So there's geography knowledge. I didn't know that. Ever been to Stonehenge? No, I've never been to Stonehenge. I've never been to anywhere really. I've been to London. That's the only place in England I've been to. So no, not Stonehenge. Sarnash Kaushik says, anything planned for Africa? Yeah, I have lots of videos planned for Africa. African history, because it barely gets any coverage, is something that I super want to dive into, because I want to show people that like the history of Africa that we get told is not the actual history of Africa. Africa has all these different insanely creative cultures that are different than anything you would expect in other places, that just get completely left out of history books because people are idiots. So yeah, I want to dive into a lot of stuff in Africa. That's what the Sand People was for. It was the first kind of like springboard on that. But we have a lot of stuff coming. Okay, what other questions? Which is the oldest religion in the world? I don't know. There's obviously religions that predate the ones we have now. I think Hinduism is the oldest ongoing religion with the longest kind of trace. Something planned for the division of India and Pakistan. This is from Armandex. Yeah. So I made the video on the Irish border, like the division of Ireland into Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland, and all the effects of that and the history of it. And I'd like to do something similar for other kind of border divisions, like the one between India and then East and West Pakistan, because the story behind it is kind of insane. Did I miss another super chat? I'll come back to it. No, I didn't. I already answered that one. Okay, sorry. The story behind that's kind of insane. What the British did there was super similar to what they did in Ireland. And it's super similar to what they did in Israel and in Palestine. And all over the world, they had this really bad, purposefully bad border policy of drawing partitions. And I want to do kind of a series. The Irish one was a kind of a practice on that, on kind of, a lot of different border partitions in the world, because it's super interesting. So I'm probably going to do India, Pakistan, the Koreas, Israel, Palestine, and probably a few of the ones in Yugoslavia. Okay. Someone saying Aryan Sultani says Zoroastrianism is old as fuck. Zoroastrianism and Hinduism are super similar in age. They're actually very like their religions have a lot of overlapping concepts. They have the same names, the same kind of ways of understanding the world, and the same language as well a lot of the time. Like the Avesta and the Rig Veda have super common crossovers. They reference a lot of the same things. So yeah, they would be roughly the same age, I assume. Let me see. History of Egypt. Yeah, history of Egypt is cool. What do you think of Joe Rogan or Dan Carlin? Dan Carlin's hardcore history is really good. He focuses a lot on like war, which I don't super find wars to be interesting. They have great stories. That's why a lot of people like war history, like military history, because wars have like an inbuilt beginning, middle, and end with characters and like plot twists, and they're very easy to follow. Not easy to follow, but they have a progression that makes sense, a narrative. But yeah, I don't know. I don't like when something is like, oh, so and so many thousand people died, because I just get sad. I'm like, oh, it must have been terrible to be in like the city that was sieged for 4 years and everyone ate each other. So I can never really listen to him without being like kind of depressed. So military history isn't really for me. But his podcast is really good. Joe Rogan's another thing, but I don't want to get into Joe Rogan. Okay. Super chat from Siddharth Singh. He said, commerce of killing people in China essay. So I think he's just, Siddharth Singh is linking an essay from an Indian Nobel laureate. I can't say the name, sorry. Rabindranath Tagore in 1881. It's not a question, but if people want to go read that, I don't know what it is. Any Aboriginal history documentaries or books that you'd recommend? Off the top of my head, I think when you say Aboriginal, I'm not sure if you mean like Australian Aboriginal or like an indigenous people around the world. I can't think of one off my head. Especially with the Australians. But one documentary I've loved for essentially most of my life, I think I saw for the first time when I was a kid, is 500 Nations. And that's what I want to say. It's by Kevin Costner. I doubt Kevin Costner did all the research for it, but it's hosted by Kevin Costner, and it's really, really good. It covers a lot of the nations within North America and all the super interesting things they did and how Americans treated them, which was not good. Okay. What was another? Oh, another one I really liked a while ago was 1491, which is a documentary made from the book 1491, which is about America before Europeans arrived, and all of the insane things they did, like how they completely control the environment and the ways they would farm and they would build, and how they had these very complex societies and this population that was much larger than we previously assumed. Someone saying, Arthur M saying, speaking about historical podcasters, Mike Duncan is awesome. Mike Duncan is awesome. His History of Rome series, I shouldn't tap the table actually. His History of Rome series is just great. It's super long, so it's something you're going to want to get into over time. If you're at work and you can put earphones in, History of Rome's great. Super long, goes through the entire history of Rome from like before the Romulus-Remus thing, explaining that, and then all the way to the fall of Rome. Really great. And then he has a new podcast thing called Revolutions, where he covers like the Haitian Revolution, the Russian Revolution. Perfect. Great podcast. Super well researched. Really easy to listen to. He's a really charismatic guy. And you can tell he super, super loves like the aspect of learning about history and presenting it. Great. Okay. Vanessa Small says a video on the Kurdish people. Definitely. I'm actually looking forward to doing that one because the Kurds are super interesting and deserve a video. Okay. Oh, I should probably continue with these questions. Favorite meme? What does Kagito mean? We already discussed this, but Kagito just means like I think in Latin. And it comes from a time when I thought the channel was going to be about tiny little robots explaining philosophy. It's not that, but that's when I decided the name. Boxers, briefs, or commando from Kaiser himself. Weird. If you're talking about the Kagito characters, the little smushy characters, they're 100% boxer briefs. It's the only thing that fits. They're very voluptuous, my little characters, so they need that kind of underwear. But yeah, I hope that answers your question. What's in line for projects? Anything you're really excited to cover in the future? We have so much planned. We actually have like a document called episode ideas, where essentially it's just pages and pages and pages and pages and pages of ideas that we eventually want to get to. Now we're focusing a lot on foods and crops, history like tea and coffee, and religions. The upcoming ones we have are, I don't want to say what's coming when, but Confucianism, Christianity, and Islam are coming soon. And then, well, we have a lot of peoples planned. A lot of people. We want to cover a lot of the Polynesian people groups, a lot of the groups in South America and Africa, and then there's indigenous people groups that people don't know about in Europe, like the Sami in Scandinavia that we super want to get to. And then we're going to maybe talk more about like important trade and cultural migrations, things like the Silk Road in Central Asia, things like the Great Migration in Europe, the fall of Rome, all that kind of stuff will be super interesting. So that's in the future. So this is a name I should be able to pronounce, but I'm just completely like thrown. Isaiah Ruth. I'm deciding on whether I'm Buddhist or not. Please help. Well, I can. Like, I'm not qualified to tell you what religion you should be. Just, I don't know, whatever thing, whatever philosophy, whatever thought processes work most with your brain, go with that. You don't even have to be like a Buddhist label. It's entirely up to you. Yeah, don't ask random YouTubers, because most YouTubers, including myself, big dum-dums. Okay. So Anish From says, Kagito, what headphones are you using? Oh, that's a good question, actually. It says JVC. Wait, this way you can maybe see it. No, still backwards. I don't understand cameras. I bought them. Oh, this is actually an important thing I want to talk about. Wait, let me just get the question off the screen because that's not what I'm answering. Oh, wow. This is a super important thing to talk about because I'm really lucky. About 2 years ago, if you know the Green brothers, John Green and Hank Green, the people who do Crash Course and Vlog Brothers and everything, they had a educational creators grant where you could apply as an educational creator and ask them, say, I create this kind of video, I want to create these kinds of videos, and I can't because I don't have this, and this resource. And they went through all these applications for the grant. You would put in how much money you needed. So I wanted to get a new laptop, I wanted to get a microphone, I wanted to get headphones to edit with. You could ask for that amount of grant money, and they selected the YouTubers they wanted to give the money to, and somehow, I don't know how, because my videos at the time were terrible, they were literally just slideshows. I got selected for that grant. I got enough money to get headphones, a drawing tablet, a new microphone, and a laptop to actually edit my videos on. And that's the reason this channel exists. That this channel exists because the Green Brothers had that grant, which was completely insane. So generous. I remember when I applied for it, I was like, no one's going to give, why would they give me money? People don't just give people money. Like, that's not how the world works. But yeah, without that, this channel wouldn't exist, because before I was editing, if you look at the first videos, like the Buddhism video, and videos around that time and before, I made them on this tiny laptop, like a ThinkPad laptop, which was like this thick, that I got on eBay for $100, €100, but like in eBay. I think I bought it in dollars and it got shipped. I don't know. Super cheap, super crappy. Didn't have Windows. It used Linux, so I couldn't use any video editing software that was actually good. I had to use like Google Slides and then record the screen as I pushed the buttons really fast and try to make it look like a video. But yeah, until that happened, like until I got that grant, this channel was impossible. So yeah, thanks to the Green Brothers for that. I have no idea why I'm talking about this. I'm not sure what the question was, but let's go back to the questions. Okay, questions. What's in life? Blah blah. Okay, so Hammerin says, "Are you planning to do collaborations with other YouTube channels such as Oversimplified?" I don't think Oversimplified wants to do collaborations with me, and I'm not like a super collaborationsy type person, and I've done a few in the past, but they really they kind of stress me out because I'm not the kind of person that works really well with other people's like workflows and schedules. I like to keep a super tight schedule. I like to work like really long days, and I work as part of a team, and we have like a really strict schedule for when we want to get videos out, and bringing other people in and working with them. Like for me personally, I'm not a person that can deal with that. I get super stressed, and yeah, it's not a great time. So I don't do a lot of collaborations. Maybe in the future, maybe when things get like our schedule is more sorted, and we get better at making the videos, maybe we can. So Drazella, thank you for the super chat of $20. Thank you so much. Says, would you consider doing topics on pagan religions like Druid and witchcraft? Witchcraft. Yeah, definitely, 100%. A lot of the new religious movements I'm really interested in doing videos on. So things like the neo-pagan religions and then their resurgence will be really cool. And then the old pagan religions, I want to do videos on Norse. I want to do videos on the Irish religions, like pre-Christian religions. They're super interesting. Greek and Roman. A lot of the older Chinese religions, they would all be super cool. Aztec religion, Mayan religion, Inca religion. What's the one? I don't want to say it wrong. The one in Nigeria. I'm forgetting the name. Yoruba, or is that the people? Let me double check. Yoruba. Sorry, pronounced it wrong. But that's the people is. What's the religion? Oh no, it's a religion as well. Look at me. The Yoruba religion. I also want to do a video on. And then things like Druids. They would be super interesting. The Druids are really complex topic to get into, and it's the same with witchcraft. I'd love to do a video on witchcraft and how it affected things like views on women in like medieval times. I think that would be like a great topic. I just have to research it. Okay. Oh my god, a lot of comments just come in really fast, or am I just illiterate? Okay, it's Dressel's comment. When you study all religions, I don't know. Ray Supan says he recommends Massam YouTube channel for ancient cultures. Yeah, he does a lot. I haven't watched their videos in like I've seen like maybe a few years ago, but I know they do videos on peoples and stuff and their movements and everything. We are all Indian. Can you make a video about Satanism? Yeah, I'd love to make a video about Satanism. I want to make a video about the Satanic Panic, which was a cultural event that happened somewhat in Europe, but mostly in the US, about like Satanists kidnapping people and eating babies and stuff, and how it was just a complete hysteria. Like throughout history, there's always this panic about like Satanists, even though there's no evidence that there's ever like actual groups of Satanists. They're always just like this boogeyman. They're the Satanists are coming, and I'd love to do a video about that kind of history. Now there is a religion called Satanism, but it's mostly, from my own understanding, it could be super wrong. I haven't looked into it, so I shouldn't even be talking about it. But from my own understanding, it's more of like a countercultural thing. Like it's not an actual worship of Satan, the character in the Bible. It's more just like a revolt against those kinds of values that a lot of Christians believe. That's what I know so far, but I definitely will make a video about it. Okay. Someone's saying like, I'm not sure what it was referenced to, but there was so much controversy. I don't know. I don't think so. I think people think things are more controversial than they actually are, especially with this channel. Like, we make videos about religions. Like, we make videos about Hinduism. We're going to make a video about Christianity and Islam. Christianity and Islam are by far the most controversial religions when it comes to how emotional people get in their, just how the kind of emotions it brings out in people. But we don't really actually get that many negative comments. So, I don't know, I think we could handle it in a way, what we try and do a lot of the time is handle things in the most respectful way we can. We don't approach it with like, I think this about this religion. We kind of like, we read books and papers and research things from people that believe that religion and from experts in that religion's studies. And then we kind of boil that down and present it. And I think when you do that, when you come at it with like a respectful attitude, like I just want to learn about your belief and explain it to other people. And I think people kind of connect, they like that. It's not a judgment, it's not anything like that. And in the videos as well, we also try and talk about the religion from the viewpoint of the people that believe it. And I think that helps with the controversy. But I don't know, I could be wrong, I could be an idiot. So we'll see when we make more of those controversial videos. Okay. A video on Hare Krishna. Yeah, I want to make a video on Hare Krishna. There's actually a lot of Hare Krishnas here in Dublin. They play a lot of drums. That's all I know so far. They make really good food. There's a Hare Krishna restaurant in Dublin that's really good. Really handy to go to. Okay, next question is, how many do you intend to make to the nearest 1,000? I don't know why 1,000 and the way I say it has become like an odd meme in my comments. I don't think I say 1,000 that like any differently than I say other words that begin with a TH. I've even practiced. If you watch my earlier videos, I don't like a typical Irish thing is leaving out THs in words. So it's this, especially in Dublin, we pronounce them with D's. So it's like this, that, and there, and tree, the object, and tree, the number, are pronounced the same. 3,333 is a meme at this point, but I don't know. I don't think I pronounce like even now. I try and pronounce it with the th. I'm like 1,000 because I'm a gentleman now who pronounces his ths when he's being recorded off microphone. Those things are left out. Okay, but yeah, I said it 1,000. I'm probably not saying it right now. I'm too in my own head about it. Please make videos on historical economic powerhouses. That's from Abby Aggie Agarwal. I think we do. We make videos about China and India, but we're going to make more about their economies at some point as well, historically. Please make a video of Pastafarianism. We get a lot of comments about making a video about Pastafarianism, but from what I know, it's a meme. No? But I'll look more into it. I could be wrong. Someone says saying the TH words the Irish way is charming. I prefer the noises because saying it, maybe it's because I've got so many comments making fun of the early original videos of me not pronouncing the TH that now I try so hard that sometimes in my daily life outside of recording videos, I insert TH into words that don't have TH. Every now and then I say 3 when I mean an actual tree. And it's a pain. It's just such a pain. But yeah, I prefer how it sounds too. Okay. Other question. Right. Okay. Mythology Guy says, are there any stories you've come across in your research that stick out either because they're funny, interesting, or unbelievable? Oh, so many. I should have written some down. Because there's so many things I have to cut from videos. Because we have these really long scripts of like 10,000 and up words that we have to cut down to like 2,000 words. There's so many like things that cutting them is like painful because you're like, oh, this is so interesting. I wish I could talk about it. And then I console myself saying, oh, I'll put it in a future video, and then it never comes up again. But the first one that comes to my head is like the coffee video had a whole section originally about this thing called, what's it called? I'm going to Google it first before I look like a ignoramus. It's called Kopi Loak. And the original script had like 3 whole minutes on this. Called Kopi Loak, and it's a coffee where they harvest the coffee beans from the feces of like a very specific, I think it's a cat or feline species that eats the coffee beans, digests them, and then poops them out. And then from the weird cat shite, these coffee farmers harvest like the beans and then sell them as like a really expensive luxury coffee. I thought that was so interesting and funny, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not actually a big part of coffee. So I did cut it because even though I thought it was funny and I knew people would think it was funny, it's not actually important to the general history of coffee, which is what we try and focus on. Sorry about the name again. Swayam Sanbu Swain, that's definitely wrong, sorry, says, "Sir, please reply. Do you and ma'am get nervous or anxious before uploading video? Sorry if you already answered. Do we get nervous before uploading video? Yeah, 100%. Uploading a video, especially as the subscriber numbers grow, is obviously super like anxiety inducing because I don't know, when you have to do any kind of public speak, it's not public speaking, but if you have to go and talk about something in front of a group of 5 people, you get super nervous. So when you put all this effort into writing a script over 2 weeks and then animating it over a weekend of it, and then you're like, oh, I'm going to release this to the world, and hundreds of thousands of people might see it and critique it and possibly see like this glaring error I've made. Yeah, it's a bit. Ugh. But that's why I release on Saturdays, and normally on Saturdays at 2 p.m. Irish time, and I always try and do something Saturday mornings so that I'm like distracted, and then the video goes out, and then I get home and I reply to comments, because otherwise I'll just sit there all day, kind of freaking out, being like, oh, is the thumbnail right? Oh, did I forget something vital in the script? Do I delete the video? But yeah, it's anxiety inducing. Okay. It's people saying that they drank the I think someone says the serval cat. Is that what the name? Sorry, it's gone now. They drank the poop coffee. I would drink it if given the choice to drink it. I would definitely drink it. But I'm not gonna pay for it though. If someone was like, here's some shite coffee, not bad, but actually made from poop. Here you have it free. I drink it too. Just see what it was like. See what the fuss is about. Okay. Next question. And Knowing Better says, would you rather look more like your character or have your character look more like you? I'm going to grab my character because I think we look identical. I'm going to grab the little Kagito. We didn't look identical when he used to be bald, but now, now we're twins. Oh, I don't have a new picture of him on this laptop. I got a new laptop and I'm missing so many files on a hard drive somewhere. I'm just going to grab the YouTube channel instead. How do I get to my own channel? Oh, wait, no, he's in the thing. I'm going to grab... Okay, this is going to mute the audio, but we're going to look at the character and then look at me and we're going to say he's the same. Identical, no? My head isn't that round, yeah. It's not that round, but I'm trying to work on it. Every night I get like a little clamp and I sleep with it and I try and elongate it this way. It's not elongate. I'm not sure what the word for this is. With elongate. I'll get there eventually. So someone says it's this cat that people harvest coffee beans from. Their poop is called a civet or chivet cat.
It's harmful, apparently, though.
What? Oh, it's harmful.
To the cats, apparently.
Oh, I didn't realize that. It's bad for the cats. Don't be doing that then. Don't be drinking their fecal coffees if it's bad for the cat. Okay. Next question. Where are you from? I love your accent, and I want to visit a place where everyone talks like that. We already discussed this earlier, but I'm from Ballyfermot. It's a place in Dublin. You're welcome to come. Come visit. We have lots of goats. No, we don't. We have one famous goat, sheep. But yeah, visit Dublin. It's not now, obviously, because it's coronavirus. But if you have the time and money, like, come definitely visit. I'm gonna be like 1 minute because I'm gonna go grab another Guinness. So like, literally just 2 seconds. Okay, back now. Now don't, if anyone else is Irish and they're going to judge me on how I pour this Guinness, it's the glass is like, it's the glass that's really bad. It's really it looks like it should be a normal. It's just bad. I don't know what's wrong with it. It can never pour the thing correctly in it. But I'll show. I'm not sure if they have Guinness. I know they don't have Guinness in South America. It's very disappointing. But because I know when I go to Uruguay, I always get super sad because I can't get any good pints. Look at this. This is disgraceful. The glass is not big enough for the can. But look, that's how Guinness settles. It is one of the most glorious things the human eye can observe. Is this proper settling of Guinness? Don't judge me by the head on it, because that's actual crime. But okay. Vish Hesh Bansal says, what do you make of Graham Hancock's work? This is embarrassing. This is really embarrassing. But one of the things that got me into learning about ancient civilizations and history and everything was Graham Hancock. Which is embarrassing because the man is made of waffles. Like, nothing in his books or any of his theories kind of sit on any evidence that is provable. And it's so obviously disproven that at this point, you kind of have to think he knows that. A lot of his theories about how there's civilizations from tens of thousands of years ago have no basis in reality. And I don't know. And it's sad that he has such a huge audience that he teaches that too. But then again, I read his work. I super liked it when I was younger, and it got me really into history. So I don't know. I don't like his work now. As a piece of fiction, it's really great. As like a work of fantasy, in the same way you would read Lord of the Rings or Dune, Graham Hancock's books are incredible because they're so creative. But other than that, just no. I might make a video actually on Graham Hancock and his theories, because I find that like debunking that kind of things is fun and actually super educational, because you can be like, this is wrong, but this is like the more correct version that we know with current evidence. Yeah, it could be cool. Nathan says, you like Bushmills? I like Jameson more. Yeah, there's not really, I don't have much of an opinion there. Jameson for me is a better tasting whiskey than Bushmills. Okay. Finley Inglis. That's a name I know how to pronounce, but reading them on the thing just throws me off. Finley Inglis, maybe. Hey, this may be a bit much. Just got here. How do you navigate educating people on other cultures drastically different from your own, whilst giving them the respect they deserve? That's super difficult, and it's something that really slows down my writing process, because I have to continuously ask myself, how would a person that is ignorant on this topic, and how would a person who is mildly racist, let's say, take this information? Do I need to provide more context in order to dispel their already negative perceptions about a people or culture? And I always super struggle with it, because I want to present things as they happen, but I know I need to provide a lot of context and comparisons so people don't be super annoying about it. And one of the things I always try and do is I try and explain that culture from that culture's perspective and as an adaptation to their environment. So when I explain, say, the San people, I don't say, oh, the San people never invented agriculture or something. It's more, this is the material reality that surrounds the San people. And they adapted to it in the best way possible in that environment. Like, you can't farm on most of the territory the San lived on. It was more logical and resulted in a better life for the person at that moment to continue to hunt and gather. And I try and do that with a lot of things. I don't do it as well as I would like to. I wish I could present the information better, but I think it gets better as we go on. We're working on a video now of, I'm not going to say who, but it's a people's video. And we constantly try and reinforce how, because the story of these people tends to get told from the perspective of the people that colonized them. And we're trying to tell it from their perspective and how they adapted to their circumstances. It wasn't the colonizer came in, killed them, and then the colonizer eventually like stopped doing that and was super nice. This is what these people did to adapt to the situation, the new things they came up with, and what that resulted in. I'm not sure if I was super like clear there, but Shirag Shetty says, with a $500 rupee super chat, thank you so much for that, says, hey man, you're great, thanks, big fan from India. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. Big love to India. India is a constant source of greatness for this channel. I love it. I love all of you. Okay. OO says, what's your favorite religion you have covered so far, I assume? Oh, it's difficult actually. No, I don't have a favorite in like a one I like connected with the most, but let me think. The Zoroastrianism video, because I didn't know anything about Zoroastrians. I didn't know anything about the influence they had, and a lot of it was left out of the video, which was kind of annoying. I didn't know anything about the influence they had on like the entire like Middle East and Levant's religious ideas, on monotheism, and how they had interacted with other religions. I knew nothing about the Zoroastrian connection with Hinduism, and how those two religions have like very similar origins and very similar words and a very similar like lexicon of understanding. And that was like super interesting. The Hinduism video was super interesting to learn about because, again, I knew nothing about it, and learning about these ideas of like Brahman and like a universal soul and everything was great. But again, lots and lots was left out of the Hinduism video because we have to condense these things down. At a future point, when we've covered all the major religions as like general videos, we're going to dive deeper into individual aspects about those religions. But yeah, I'd say the Zoroastrianism and Hinduism ones were the ones that like presented me with the most different ideas and the most new information. So they're not my favorites, because I don't really have a favorite. I like them all. Yeah. Because, you know, the videos are babies, and you can't have a favorite child. So, but those are the ones that have taught me the most. Look at that diplomatic answer. Okay. Mr. Paradoxal says, I'm an atheist from India, but I would really love to learn about Islam. We're making a video about Islam. I'm dedicating a lot of extra time to the research on it. I want to get a lot of reading done, especially of the Quran, especially of like the different hadiths and everything. So it's going to take a while. It's probably going to be a longer video. But yeah, I'm super like looking forward to covering it as well. CIA, don't trust that. How do you pronounce your channel name? What? Oh, I forgot about the questions. So how do you pronounce your channel? It's pronounced Kagito. Lots of Americans say Kagito. You can say what you want, I don't know. It's your own words. But I say Kagito. Okay. What country are you from? I'm from Ireland. So I've answered that one a few times, but people seem really curious about it. Please, can you make a video on ancient trade between India and the rest of the world? Definitely. There's a statistic I know that up until like the 17th century, up until the British arrived and destroyed Bengal, India accounts for like 25%, a quarter of the entire Earth's GDP. Again, which is something that's completely like left out of most history books. And I want to super dive into that fact. I want to super dive into the fact that for most of world history, everyone was trying to trade with India. It's why the British went there. It's why Romans and Greeks were looking for the trade with. So that's a super interesting topic I want to get into. Okay. When are you releasing more videos in Spanish? Quite soon, actually. So the Spanish channel, Explicame. Do you want to post the link to the Spanish channel in the chat?
Yeah.
It's going to be posted.
It's my username.
You'll see the moderator there. Her username is Explicame. It leads to our Spanish channel. It's the same videos, but they're in Espanol. So it's the same videos in Spanish. We were producing them a little bit more a while ago, and then we fell off because we kind of got behind the videos we're making now. But yeah, you're going to see more videos on the Spanish channel soon. Pradyut Fogla says, is Hinduism and Greek mythology related? Or is Hindu and Greek mythology related? I think they're vastly related. Yeah, that's like a super well-studied thing. Hindu mythology, Zoroastrian mythology, even Norse, Irish, Greek, Roman, a lot of the mythologies in Europe and across Central Asia and into the Middle East, they're all super related. You see a lot of the same motifs, you see a lot of the same gods, you see a lot of the same words. The word for horse in Sanskrit is the same as the word for horse in Lithuanian. These cultures were communicating. They sprang from common sources and believed in very similar things. I think the word for horse in Sanskrit is asva, and in Lithuanian it's asva. So yeah, they have a lot of overlapping things. They obviously developed late, like they obviously diverged at certain points, but yeah, they're all super related. Crazy Cody's Creation says, you have a Spanish channel? Yeah, the link is a few comments up there. That's my girlfriend. She does the voiceover on that channel because my Spanish is terrible. OO says, do you speak Irish? I do. I in my school, we only spoke Irish. If you spoke English, you got suspended. I got suspended a lot because my Irish is pretty bad, but I can speak it I used to. I haven't spoken it in like 6 years, but I could speak it semi-fluently. And the reason I can't speak it fluently is because I went to a school for 14 years that only spoke Irish, but I have a learning disability, and so I fell super behind. I can't read really well without assistance. Now I'm better, obviously. Read a lot of books. But in school, I had a thing called dyspraxia. I fell super far behind, and so I couldn't understand the language everything was being taught in, and it was a kerfuffle. Okay. Video on Shintoism. Yep, that's coming as well. And video on Balinese culture. Yeah, Bali is super interesting. I'm dying to make a video on Bali. It's this little exclave of Hindu culture. It's in Indonesia. Yeah, that's super interesting. I want to do a video on it, and I want to kind of come at it from an angle that also explains that before Muslim traders had went to Southeast Asia and Islam became the dominant religion there, they were like a mix between Hindu and Buddhist, which again, yeah, something you don't really learn a lot about, and I think that's really interesting. And like the aesthetic, this obviously isn't important to everyone, but for me, the aesthetic of like Balinese, what's it called, rituals and holidays, I really like. I like the masks, I like the intense facial features and everything. Love it. Sultan of Aksum says, "How is your beard so nice?" I don't have a beard. I just haven't shaved in a few days, a few weeks actually. I don't grow a beard. Rukesh Sutrave says, where did you get interest in history? I've kind of always been interested in history because when I was super young, my dad and brother started to play Age of Empires on like the house computer, and I got like really into it. I was like maybe 4 or 5 or 6 years old, and I just started playing Age of Empires all the time. I was terrible at it. I'm still terrible at it. And I would just like build houses and look at all the different castles and like building types and go play the campaigns. Aztec 1, it's by far the best. And then I got super into it. Played Age of Mythology after. Got super into mythologies and religions, and yeah. So those 2 games essentially got me into like my whole career. Okay. Video. Next question. James Sweeney from the channel Sweeney, which you should definitely go check out. I'm jealous of all of his animations. They're so great. He says, would you rather be the sacking of Rome by the Vandals or the sacking of Constantinople by the Ottomans? If there's a choice, I don't want to be at any of the sackings. There's so much murder, so much pillage. I also can't go back in time because I have glasses and I can't see without them. So it would just be kind of blurry chaos for me. If I had to pick one, I would go to Constantinople because I'm more interested in seeing Constantinople than Rome. But I would also kind of just see it and then it would be destroyed. So definitely Constantinople. If I get to be there like a few days before the sacking, and then like of the day of the sacking, I can be like, oh, actually, I have to go back to the future. Okay. Crazy Cody's Creation says, are you planning on any Halloween/October themed videos for next month? I should have. I like doing themed videos. Like the Women's Day video we have is one of my favorites as well. But I didn't plan anything for this year. Maybe next year. I'd love to look at the Irish origins of Halloween, because a lot of Halloween tradition comes from Ireland. Like the Irish word for October is Samhain, and Halloween has a lot of connections to Samhain as this kind of like fall festival. That would be kind of interesting. M Laser History, who should definitely go check out. M Laser is also a great channel. Hey Kagito, congrats on 200k subs. Sadly, I don't have the time to watch the whole live stream, but I'll check out your video later. Here's to another 200k subs. So yeah, thanks M Laser. M Laser is a great guy. You should go check out his videos. I've met him. He's from Slovakia. He was there. I lived in Prague, and we had a podcast for a while. Okay. People are talking about if Ireland did not leave the EU. Ireland would never leave the EU. Ireland loves the EU. Brexit is a whole separate issue. What's your favorite counterfactual or alternate history? One second, I have to cough, so I'm just gonna mute this for 1 second. Okay. Favorite account? I don't really like alternate history. Mostly because like a lot of the alternate history I see is what if the bad guys won the war, and I don't know. For me, it feels a bit. I don't know. I never like the vibe a lot of alternate history stuff gives me. But if I had to pick like a counterfactual or alternate history world, definitely the one where dinosaurs stay around. Definitely the one where like I get to live in like a Flintstones world and I get to have like a pterodactyl phone and like a weird dinosaur elephant Hoover. I want like a car pulled by a Tyrannosaurus or some raptors. That would be great. That's the only alternate history I want to live in. Obviously, I would want the dinosaurs to be nice and not to eat me. But other than that, yeah, I want to live in Flintstones land. Someone saying I have COVID. Oh God, yeah, maybe. This is a question from Nick. Congrats. Question: if you could go back in time to any place at any time period without the restrictions of language barriers, butterfly effect, for a day, where would you go? Okay. I wish I had a better answer, but I want to go to somewhere that we don't have a lot of historical evidence for, or don't have a lot of historical documentation on. As in, like, I could go to Rome and see what Rome looks like, but we already have like these great 3D replications of Rome and what it looked like because we have so much evidence. And same with like Constantinople, same with like the giant capitals of China and places in Japan. I would maybe go to like Tenochtitlan, which is like Mexico City, like the Aztec capital of the Aztec Empire, because I want to go see this immense floating city that is apparently like super clean and has street sweepers and canoe travel goes through like all the canals in the street. Like I went to Mexico City only last year, and I remember when I was in the city, I went to a super high tower. I think it's called, I forget the name of the Latin American tower. I think it's called, super tall. And I remember looking out, and I was like, yeah, this is insane. At one point in time, this was floating on top of a lake. This was a floating city full of hundreds of thousands of people interacting that I have no reference for because my training or my cultural knowledge comes from like European tradition. So someone like that, or maybe like if you know about Great Zimbabwe, it's like this large city in Zimbabwe, from like centuries ago, completely abandoned when we found that Europeans refused to believe it was an actual city that Africans could build. I'd love to go see that because the evidence we have for it and the research done into it isn't that great. So I'd love to go see it. What else? Oh my God, I forgot. I read about this event where all of these British explorers in the Pacific found this island with giant turtles on it. And they were like, whoa, look at these turtles, they're massive. We should bring them back to London to give them like a scientific name. And for 300 years, they couldn't bring the turtles back because the turtles were so delicious that they kept eating them on the ships. Even like Charles Darwin, on his ship, it was like, yeah, these turtles are delicious. And they didn't get like a Latin name, like a European Latin name for 3 centuries because the sailors were like, okay, my bad, I brought the bones back. There was a whole turtle at some point. He was just so delicious that we couldn't bring him back. Love it. I love it. I don't even eat meat. Like I don't even eat meat, so like I don't even think I eat the turtle. I would just like to go there and someone describe to me how delicious the turtle is. Okay. Oh God, I'm so bad with that. Let me double check. So, okay, we have a super chat from Joy Tosar for 100 rupees. Thank you so much. Said, love your videos despite me not being into informational ones. Keep up the great work and hope you get all the success you deserve. Thank you so much. That means a lot. Thank you. I'm glad that even people who don't like super informational or educational videos, because yeah, they can be a little bit boring sometimes, like these videos. That's great. It's great to know. Okay. Vanessa Small says, would you ever travel around the world by sea? Definitely. I'd love to like do like a around the world in 80 days type trip by sea. I feel like maybe it's because I'm from Ireland and because a lot of our history revolves around people being exported around the world on boats, that even in my head, even though I've only ever traveled by plane, I'm like, oh no, the default way of going from Ireland to America is by boat. And so I would love to like get a boat from Ireland to like Australia. It'd take months, but like that would be fun. Fun now. Back then, they were called coffin ships, and for a reason. So now I would like to go around the world by sea. Someone's saying it's midnight in India. Thank you so much for staying awake to watch the stream. It's great. Okay. So, Nimi Cyrus says, what is your favorite history, bro? I mean, ancient, medieval, and modern. Any history that I don't know anything about, so I meet for the first time. So if I'm learning about, people in Southern Africa, if I'm learning about, like I didn't know anything about China before we made a lot of the videos we did on China. And learning about like that giant, colossal culture was great. So I don't really have a favorite time period. It's like learning about different people in the world. Where are you from? Oranges. No, that question means. People are saying they're leaving now. Okay, bye. Slán. Next question. Totally Professional says, why are there few potato varieties in the West? Because the West is not ready for the starch. The starch lord. There's 5,000 varieties of potatoes that the Inca and those ancient Peruvian people designed for the world. They brought them from tiny little poisonous tubers that no one could eat and raised them into just beautiful little starchy spuds. And we only eat like 5 different versions. When I went to Bolivia, we went to like a food market and there was like these ladies and they had these little carpets out, and on the carpets were these rainbow of potatoes. There was an actual potato that was a rainbow color. It had purple and pink and green and everything. When you could open all these different colors inside, and there were purple potatoes and green potatoes and pink potatoes, all the potatoes you could imagine. And then I go home to Ireland, which has the second best potatoes after Chile and Peru and Bolivia. And you only have 3 different types. There's white and there's red, and that's it. I want rainbow potatoes every day. Vanessa Small says, how do Irish celebrate St. Patrick's Day versus Americans? Went there for St. Patrick's Day, locked down for 5 months. Oof, that's rough. I know in America you have parades and you dye the street green and everyone drinks and everything. In Ireland it's kind of the same, but I think the thing is Ireland has actually borrowed a lot of its St. Patrick's Day celebrations from America. It went from like a religious holiday with like a few parades to like this big drinking holiday that it is now. It's great crack. Like having pints on St. Patrick's Day is great if you stay at home. If you go into the city centre, it's chaos and the worst. But yeah, I think it's super similar. Just the Americans do a much bigger version of it. The annoying thing is that in Ireland, like in Dublin, we have a parade every year for St. Patrick's Day, and for the last few years, it's just been American marching bands for most of the parade. I don't understand what the point is, but yeah. And yes, we have a Discord server. For people that are asking, we have a Discord server. Okay. Oh, we have no wait. Next thing. What's your favorite civilization? I don't have a favorite. A lot of the Native American ones. I like the Maya. The Maya are super interesting, especially because they've been around for so long. Like they're one of the oldest, probably continuous people, especially like continuous people who were like agriculturalists. So they were farmers who built civilizations and have continued to today, like a super long time. So the Maya are super cool, and their pyramids are great. Who else? I love the Inca. The Inca, I like learning about them, but their empire is very like strict and rigid and everything. Like the Inca emperors aren't like super fun, but the culture is really interesting to learn about, and how they work their stone into these incredible like little jigsaw pieces is incredible. Who else? I only ever think of the Native American ones. They're the ones that always stand out to me. Yeah, no, I'll go for those. I'll go for the Maya and the Inca. They're great. Geography World says, what's your favorite part of Irish history? The part before certain people arrived and killed everyone. Yeah, a lot of the pre-colonial, pre-British conquest of Ireland is super interesting. You have even like pre-Norman, because the Normans also conquered Ireland slightly after they conquered England. Because you have all these kings and all these kind of like little small kingdoms, all these different groups interacting, and they have this. It's almost mythical in scale, because you have all these big characters, like people whose names are like Mael na Bo, which means like cow mouth, or Connor of this is it Con or I think it's Neil of the 9 hostages, because he kept 9 people hostage. Super interesting. And then after that kind of like pre-British era, which isn't like super well documented, or I don't super understand that much. I do love like hearing about it. I like a lot of the Irish War of Independence, a lot of the history around the Irish border, like the partition of Northern Ireland from Ireland, where the British, when they left Ireland, they drew a line, they gerrymandered a line to separate one part of Ireland that would become its own independent nation, and they kept the 6 counties at the top as part of the British Empire. That's super interesting. Seeing how that plays out, how those characters interact with each other, how that border was decided is really fun, which is why I made a video on it, which you can go listen to. Someone says, can I make a video on the historical accuracy of the Bible? Could, yeah. I don't know. It's not really on the top of my list. But yeah, I don't know. It could. Yeah. Please do a video on the history of Paraguay. Definitely. I'd love to do a video on the history of Paraguay. I actually, if you know the channel Kings and Generals, they have a video on the War of the Triple Alliance between Brazil, Uruguay, and Argentina against Paraguay, where Paraguay had a war with all 3 of those countries. Like, I wrote the script for that video. So if you want to go see like a video I've written about Paraguay, go watch the Kings and Generals video. Oh, someone said the Vikings in Ireland. Yeah, that's also a super interesting period. I actually grew up near a place where there's a Viking settlement, and I loved it because it's a park and they have all these different drawings of like Viking tombs and how it would have looked back then. Really interesting. Vikings in Ireland is also great, especially because Ireland was the Vikings that colonized Ireland, or at least conquered parts of Ireland, especially Dublin. They founded Dublin. It's a Viking city. Or if you've seen the TV show Vikings, like Ragnar, the main character, Ragnar Lothbrok, his children, I think it's Ivor the Boneless, is the one that conquers Ireland. And it's just this really cool coming together of things. Like if you watch Vikings and you're from Ireland, you see like the story of one of the people who comes and conquers, like, yeah, your island. Really fun. Okay. What inspired you to study religions and history? I just find them to be the most interesting things because they give you context. They give you a lot of context on how other people have viewed the world throughout like history and their culture. If you study someone's religion, like you do get a lot of information on like their culture and how they live their daily life. And if you study history, you get a lot of context on why things are the way they are today. If you know about the history of like the partition of India, you know a lot about why there's so much conflict there. If you know about the age of colonialism and how Europe went to all these different countries and colonized them, and a lot of their resources then flow back into Europe, you can see why Europe has a lot of these like really rich places, and that gives you a lot of context on things. It's really interesting to learn about. Okay. Arcane Acolyte says, would you rather know the true founding of Rome or have 10 of the Maya books that were burned? Maya books, 100%. Like, the founding of Rome, I don't care if it was Romulus and Remus that did it or if it was just a small city that grew up from a bunch of people building a city. It probably started like any city starts. But the Maya are one of the few people in the world that developed their own system of writing it. Like writing has only been developed like what, 6, 7 times independently, like China, Egypt, Sumeria, and then over with the Maya. And they wrote so many books. Like we know that when the Spanish got there, the Maya had thousands and thousands of like bark paper books about their history, about their religion, about people, about battles, about everything that's happened to them. They had recorded it like every other people does, and then people burned all of it, and we lost like a massive pillar of civilization, like a whole way of seeing the world that we're never going to get back. So 100% I would rather if I could get like 5 more Maya books and not know how Rome was founded, 100% I'm going for the Maya books. Yeah, someone's saying video about spice trades, 100%. Videos about spice, especially like stuff like pepper, would be a great video. I keep getting lost in all of my programs. Okay. Do you like potatoes or chocolate? It's another decision. Like I love potatoes so much. Potatoes are life, but chocolate is also life. In the room currently, I have 3 different bars of chocolate. One's a 95% dark chocolate. One's like a Lindt, a milk chocolate, and the other one's like I think a 75% dark chocolate. I love chocolate. I probably eat chocolate every single day, so I'm not going to decide. Potatoes give life, but chocolate gives life meaning. Okay. And I see a lot of people saying Maya books is good. Yeah, Maya. If there's anything I can push onto the world, is people need to complain more about how we lost all of the Maya books. For the love of God, and for the love of all the things, complain as loud as possible that we lost the Maya books and we were done dirty. Hashtag bring back Maya books. Okay. Okay. Next question. So, what is your favorite thing about Uruguay that isn't your partner? Okay. So this person already knows that my girlfriend, who also works on the channel, is from Uruguay. Let's put Uruguay on the map, will we? Uruguay's the best. People don't know where it is. Here's Uruguay here. It's located between Argentina and Brazil. And I go there like every year, essentially, for a few months. It's the best. It's the most relaxed, chill, happy country you can go to. It has the whole country is essentially surrounded by perfect beaches. The people are relaxed. The food is great. Like one of the main hobbies is to get like a giant thermos of hot water, a little special container of this thing called mate, which is like a tea, more of an infusion, super high caffeine. You go to the beach, you go to a boardwalk, you sit there for a few hours with your friends, you all drink this thing. It's just perfect. It's a great country. My favorite thing about it isn't my partner is how laid back it is, and also the food. Oh my god, there's a thing in Uruguay called a chavito, which is like a burger but on steroids. It's like this big. It has egg. It has meat. Mine has soy. All these different vegetables on top, pepper, cheese. It comes with a huge plate of chips. It's enormous. I'm gonna get a chavito on the screen right now for you. If you decide to go anywhere on holidays after, chavito here is outrageous looking. If you decide to go on anywhere in South America, I would highly recommend Uruguay. It's the best. Okay. Look at this. Look at this monster. You can feed a whole family with it. It's delicious. Okay, next question. Someone's saying, when was corn discovered? I think like 7,000 years ago. I think, I don't know the exact location. It could be either North, South America, or somewhere in Mexico. These Native American peoples discovered this little grass, like a tiny little grass, and then they genetically modified it into these massive ears of corn you know today. It's one of like the greatest genetic engineering projects humanity has ever done, is turning this inedible tiny grass into this massive crop that was the backbone of millions and millions of people in these different American civilizations. Okay, Jim Pennon says, do I eat fish? No, I don't eat fish. I don't eat any of the meats. But someone's saying they'd love to try mate. Yeah, you should definitely try mate. Mate is delicious and also keeps you really awake. There's a video on my channel called The History. Did ancient people get PTSD? Or did ancient soldiers get PTSD? And I made that entire video, I animated that entire video in one night. And I just drank thermos full of mate as I was animating it. Just so much caffeine. Specs Bean Farmer says, isn't Mexico North America? Yeah, Mexico is North America. That's what I said, North, South America, or Mexico. Because Mexico's in North America. I just wasn't sure where the original piece of grass was from. Someone's saying discovered maize in Mexico. Yeah, I kind of assume, it was Mexico more than anything else. I think I'm getting confused with chocolate and potatoes, which are, I think, from the Ecuador area where they first came from, or the Amazon rainforest, the northern part. But yeah, okay. People are saying good night. Okay, good night. Thank you for staying up to watch this. Next question. It's on the screen. What music do you like to listen to? Loads of different types. Right now, bardcore. I'm not sure if you know what bardcore is, but it's people who are remixing popular music. I think it started with pumped up kicks into medieval ballad versions. It's great. It's great. I especially like it when they change the lyrics to a funny way. I think Bad Guy had a great one. I don't even know the lyrics of it, but check out bardcore. It's not something you actually listen to. You're not going to play it at a party, but it's just funny to listen to throughout the day. I'm a huge fan of old rock, not rock, but stuff like The Doors. I really like, and then more modern things. If I'm working, I like to listen to a lot of drum and bass, which I'm not sure if you have it around the world, but in the UK and Ireland, it's very popular. It's very very fast, very rhythmic, really nice to listen to. I listen to a lot of cumbia and reggaeton as well. Big fan of that. That's kind of it though. Someone's bardcore. Bardcore is fun. Bardcore is great. And it's one of those things that when you see it happen, you're like, oh, I love people. I love that someone was like, wouldn't it be really funny if Pumped Up Kicks was sung by a medieval bard. You know? Okay. Mr. Beat says, you've traveled around quite a bit. What's your favorite place? Other than Uruguay and Ireland, I would say Mexico. Mexico is by far like the favorite country I've been to so far. Mostly because I got to see all the pyramids and eat all this food. You get to swim in like cenotes, which are these giant like limestone holes full of water. It's just a great place. Going around there was incredible. I only went to like the Yucatan Peninsula, which is where the Maya used to live. So you have like, we went to like Chichen Itza and like Uxmal, which are these like ancient Maya sites. Not ancient actually, Chichen Itza is from like 600 years ago. But these Maya sites, and we got to see these incredible, like when you see like pyramids for the first time, it's like very breathtaking. Like that was the first time I saw like a giant stone pyramid. Blew me away. Chichen Itza and Uxmal were definitely like moments where I was like breathless, speechless. Definitely recommend going to Mexico, especially the Yucatan part. Food's great. So many ruins and history to like absorb. Just I want to go back. I want to go back so badly. I would recommend though, not eating food from a street cart. Bad idea. Definitely a bad idea. Because they will have an effect on you. Grant Hurst says, what conspiracy theory do you think is probably false, but you wouldn't be surprised to find out it was actually true? Definitely, so this is something I don't believe. Okay, obviously, if it was true, I wouldn't be shocked. The moon landing. I'm not saying the moon landing was faked. I'm saying that if it came out that the Americans never landed on the moon, I wouldn't be like, oh, you know, the Russians had the first person in space, and the first dog in space, and the first satellite in space, and the first spacewalk, and the first rotation around the moon. They were there to everything first. So if it came out that maybe the Americans lied about being the first on the moon, I wouldn't be aghast. They obviously were. I'm not saying the moon landing was faked. I'm saying that, yeah. You would expect the Russians to get there first. They were first to everything else. But, yeah. Arcane Acolyte says, would you ever want to play the Maya ball game? I think it's called Puck ta Puck. I wouldn't want to play it because I don't really like team sports. But I'd love to watch it. I'd love to get in like one of those ancient Maya ball courts. If you look up like the ball court at Chichen Itza, this huge kind of court with like these bleachers on the side that you can see the game from, and like these little hoops. And yeah, we'd love to see how the sport was played because they play it with these rubber balls that are super dense and super bouncy and really hard. And so they had to wear like braces on their arms and a special hip belt because they couldn't touch it with their hands. They had to like get it with the hip. And that's just like a really interesting way of playing a sport. I'd love to see how it's played. I wouldn't want to play it because I would probably break something. But I would love to see actually talented people do it. I think now in Mexico they have recreations of it, but I'm not sure if it's 100% accurate. But yeah, I actually might go see one of those. Someone's saying, what's your favorite island nation? Ireland would be the top one. I don't think I've been to any other. Oh, England I've been to. They're not it. I don't know. I want to go to places like Cuba. I think that'd be really interesting. I've had like a big interest in Cuba for like a long time, and then Japan would be interesting, but I don't know if they're my favorite. Someone's saying they want to know more about Inca quipus. If you don't know what an Inca quipu is, I'll get it on screen. They're these incredible things. I saw one when I was in Chile and blew me away. Okay, here's a quipu here. So this is it's a bad picture, but this is an Inca quipu, and what makes them interesting is that this is how the Inca stored data. They weren't they didn't have writing, so they couldn't write anything down. But the Inca were a people that had these giant warehouses, And in the warehouses, they stored all these goods. And so we obviously knew, because they had an empire and these warehouses that stored lots of goods, they had to keep track of everything, keep track of the number of things. And then we found these quipu, and they have like knots, these lines and knots throughout them. And we think that the knots somehow told the person who knew how to read them the information. So we don't know if this was just like information on things in like warehouses, or if maybe there were myths and legends and history and biographies on these quipu. Unfortunately, everyone that knew how to read the quipu was murdered to death. So, yeah. But yeah, if we can ever figure out how to decipher how those things are read, we're going to get like this insane amount of information on the Inca. And it's just cool that when you think like, oh, information can only be stored one way. It can only be stored forever. Obviously, it can be stored in the human brain in a manner of different ways. Forever, like in writing. It has to be on stone or on paper. Whereas the Inca came up with this whole different way of storing information in knots, which is just weird. Okay. Next question. Would you rather fight Conor McGregor or Mike Tyson? I don't know. I feel like both of them. I don't feel like both of them would like just smash me up. But I want to fight. I'll fight Conor McGregor. Like I'll fight any man. But especially Conor McGregor, because he just seems like such a shit. I just don't like him. So yeah, he's gonna kick the crap out of me. But like, I would like to like just I don't know. I don't want to fight anyone. But if I could, like, Conor McGregor. Someone saying that people thought the quipu were just mops for a really long time. That's hilarious. That's something I can really see happen. I can just see like a colonial person finding like a huge warehouse, like one of these colonial Spanish people. After conquering all this land and kind of wiping out the culture, they find a storehouse full of these things that like are literally the memory of this culture, and then using it as a mop. I can see that happening. Aaron David is, what is a good language to learn to travel? That depends on where you want to travel. If you want to travel just like within Europe and maybe like North America, English is obviously like what's going to be more useful. If you're going to travel in Africa, like something like French is obviously going to be super useful. Arabic, again, like any of these kind of giant global languages. I want to learn Arabic and I want to learn Hindi after I learn Spanish. Because if you know Spanish, you can travel throughout South America. Not Brazil, obviously, but you can finagle something. Like you can kind of understand each other because Brazilians speak Portuguese and the rest of South America speaks Spanish, except for the Guyanas. They're doing their own thing. You can kind of finagle something with the Brazilians. And then in Africa, French will get you very far. And Arabic can get you like throughout the entire Arab world. Again, with some like dialectic issues, but you can kind of get it. So if you're going to travel, English, French, Spanish, Arabic, and then Asia is the one that has like the kind of less widespread single language, but obviously like Chinese or something would be great. But yeah, traveling around the world, English is like obviously the most powerful language because it's the most spoken one. But something like Spanish and French would get you pretty far. Someone's saying, do I know much Irish? Yeah, I speak fluent Irish. Could have taught you. Next question is, what is my educational background? I went to university to study English, history, and law, and then I changed to English, history, and philosophy. But I was there for like 7 weeks, and then I dropped out. So, not a great educational background. But I consider this channel to be like an educational background. Channel is like, I learn about a bunch of things. I don't know anything, and then I say, I want to make a video on this. And so I go and learn everything I can about it. And that's one of my ways of like educating myself. I see it as like, when we make these videos, we're also learning along with the audience. We just learned that before. As you see in the chat there, people are asking questions that have kind of already been answered. So maybe you can, if you've joined late, you can go back and watch the rest. Like things like where am I from, and a lot of these things I've already answered. Okay. Oh, I'm hunching a lot actually. Okay. I think this is the last question that we have from before. Educated Earth asks over on Reddit. You should go to the Kagito subreddit, by the way, because we have discussions and stuff there, or the Discord that you get from Patreon. Sweet potatoes versus white potatoes. White potatoes. Sweet potatoes have their place. You know, sweet potato can be nice out of the oven, but what you're gonna make You're going to make mashed sweet potato? Obviously not. You can't mix that with butter. Like, white potato, you can make all of the basic food groups. You have your chips, you have your mashed potato, baked potato, like all the good things are made from white potatoes. But sweet potato, they should know their place. Sweet potato should know their place. Do you think, it's a lot of questions actually, but I'll go through them pretty fast because I'm pretty sure, is it the last one? Yeah, it's the last one. Do you think it's ethical for a country to maintain an active military? Depends on the country. I don't know, like somewhere like Costa Rica doesn't need a military. And so having one for them, yeah, would be kind of unethical. But I don't know, there's certain countries in the world that have big countries that want to have them be part of their country. So obviously for them, having a military is kind of important. If you're a very small country, where a very big one is interested in your resources, it's in your best interest of it to have military. But again, if you're a really big country and you're using your military to like steal things from people, that is obviously unethical. But again, I don't know the real answer to these questions. I'm just me. Do you have anyone helping? Yeah, me and my girlfriend run this channel. How important is language in maintaining the culture of a country? Should countries sideline their own languages and move towards using English instead? No. Because I went to an Irish only school and we can only learn Irish, for a long time I really hated Irish as a language because my teachers all wanted me to speak it. So obviously I hated it. And for a while there, when I was a teenager, I was like, oh, everyone should just learn English and we could all talk to each other. But after like going around the world and after like learning other languages myself, you realize that like there's certain concepts and certain ways of like seeing the world that you can only get with certain languages. There's words and like people. There's a meme about German having all these words for very specific things. Like I'm not sure. One of them is like Welt, Schlang. I don't know, something German, about like being weary of the world and like stuff like Schadenfreude, and it's just like Hindi and Sanskrit have all these different words for like universal souls and cycles of like the universe and everything that obviously English doesn't have. And then Irish as a language has over 30 words for field. Irish has, it's a word, I'm forgetting a word now. I remember learning it. It's an Irish word and it means the intense feeling of loneliness a person gets in the very first hours of sunlight. That when you wake up when no one else is awake and that kind of air you feel in the morning. Irish has a word for that. English doesn't. Maybe French doesn't, I don't know. Portuguese has a word called saudade, which is like a nostalgia that cannot really be understood in words. And yeah, if everyone just learned English, yeah, it would be very efficient. Like the economy would benefit from everyone speaking the same language, but like we would lose literally hundreds of thousands of years of cultural development. I don't know, that's not really, for me, that's not really worth like the efficiency of everyone being able to communicate. You can learn other languages, like it's pretty easy. Not for me, but other people are smart enough. And what are your thoughts on the concept of South Indian country, like a South India made up of Kerala? The connection dropped. Yeah. Oh, okay. It should be back now, I think. I can't tell. I'll see if it comes back.
Okay, now
It's back?
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to neck my point just before it comes back. Okay. The chat's frozen as well, actually. Were there any super chats when I was talking? I kind of missed it. No? Okay, cool. Oh, it's getting dark outside now. Now I'm much oranger than I was before. Okay, people are saying it's back. Okay, we're back. Okay, cool. I hope you heard the last of what I said. Yeah? Okay. And that's that's the last question that was on my like previous questions things. What are we on now? We're on like 2 hours and like 56 minutes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so we can do like a few minutes of answering some like questions right from the chat. But before that, I would like to thank, this is a benefit from Patreon, I would like to thank our $20 plus patrons. So we have Aaron Snakenberg, Crazy Cody's Creations, Kobe Ledette, and Joseph Bala. Thank you so much for your support. $20 plus patrons, really, like, you guys cover so much extra stuff that we've been able to add to the videos, like extra stock footage, better map quality and everything. So yeah, thank you so much for your support. Okay, so I can answer some questions from the chat now. So if you want to put some stuff in the chat. Oh my God, my back. Okay. People say, yeah, so if you want to post in the chat, I will answer questions from there now. Okay. People are saying good night. Yeah, I think it's pretty late. It's 8 o'clock here, so I can only imagine how late it is in like India and Australia and everything. Jaden Knickerbocker says, "What is the most pointless and disappointing war ever fought in human history, in your opinion?" Any of the wars where it was just, we're gonna conquer these people and take their land and resources and just export it somewhere else, because everyone loses. When all these colonial powers went to other countries and stole their stuff, over the long run, both lost out on things. We lost out on like cultural heritage, and if you think of it, even just from an economic standpoint, it's always better to trade with people than it is to steal, because both people can then increase each other's wealth instead of one increasing marginally and the other decreasing a huge amount. Whereas if you look at somewhere like Japan that managed to avoid colonization, they're a super powerful economy. So yeah, stuff like that, it's always kind of disappointing. Someone says, what are the headphones for? I thought I was going to have to listen to myself more to test the audio, but then I can just take them off. That's a good point. My neck was really warm. Someone saying, do I know anything about Aeroville, India? I don't, sorry. We got a super chat actually from Aerotech SJC IT 15 with 100 rupees. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Rickabeck says, how do you choose your video topics? We have a long list of topics that we kind of pick from, but now we kind of tend to focus on like foods. We tend to focus on religions and peoples. So we kind of just pick whatever people or religion or food we find most interesting. We also take topics from Patreon. We put polls up on Patreon and to ask people like, what do you want us to make videos on? And they submit what they want, and we take those ideas as well. And people saying the Kagito video on Hinduism was great. Thank you. Yeah, the Hinduism video was one I was really nervous for because there was so much misinformation about Hinduism, and I wanted to get it correct. So I made sure to look for books written by like Hindu people, like experts in Hinduism. People saying big fan from Kenya. Thank you. It's good to know we have people from Kenya. I actually have some videos I have planned on making on Kenya. So yeah, there's a lot of history there that I want to cover. Would you prefer if there was only one country in the world, just planet Earth? I don't know. I feel like countries, which are a pretty new concept, are good if, they serve the purposes of the people in that country. A lot of countries, like if you think of like a giant country like the United States, it's super large and has all these different peoples in it, like Native Americans and like settlers who were there before there was an America. It's like the Tejano people in Mexico, and like people who are descended from French people and all these different kinds of people. And because the nation is so massive, they kind of get ignored. So if there was one giant world government, you'd kind of just see, the biggest groups of people getting like attention. I don't know. Again, like I'm not the kind of person like that has the information to answer that question like in a significant way. Eman says, have you ever heard of Vilnius? Vilnius is the capital of, I want to say, Lithuania. Let me double check. Oh, yes, it is the capital of Lithuania. Yeah, I've heard of it. I want to go. I want to go to both Lithuania and the capital of Estonia, and I forget the name of as well. Both of them look great. I want to go to all the Baltic nations. Any videos coming in Lithuania? Yeah, I think it's Lithuania, and a lot of it's medieval history. Could be really, really interesting to cover. But Lithuania used to be a massive country. Like, it used to be enormous. And people kind of don't know about it. And I think it'd be really, really fun to look at that and explain why it was so big. And the entire history. At some point, we'll get into covering the history of countries. Any possibility in the future of making a video on geopolitics? I don't know. I like geography. I like geography's effects on politics. So I assume at some point we'll cover it. The last answer was not clear. That South India question. Yeah, the answer to my South India question and whether or not it should be its own country was that I don't have the knowledge to answer that in any significant way. I'm not the kind of person who should be answering whether or not South Indians should be their own country. That's a question that people in India, and especially people in South India, have to talk about. Or at least I can only talk about after go off and read more about it, which I haven't done yet. Jaden says, read Brave New World for the whole world country. Yeah, I've read Brave New World. I love Aldous Huxley. Brave New World is great. Especially if you compare it with 1984. It's an interesting book. I don't remember the world government. All I remember in it was how people were controlled through pleasure and meeting all of their needs, rather than the 1984 version of just a boot on your face kind of way. But yeah, people are saying Vilnius is a lovely city, and so is Tallinn. Tallinn is the capital of Estonia. That looks like a fairy tale. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna finish up because it's been 3 hours now. So I'm going to finish up soon. I only had 2 pints though. I was expecting, I kind of forgot about them. Okay. Have you ever been to the Netherlands? I have been to the Netherlands. I've been to Amsterdam, and at some point in the future, I wanna go stay there for longer. It's such a great country. Everything there is perfect. So yeah, I'd love to go live there for a while. There's more content coming in India. Yeah, more India content, more everywhere content. But yeah, India as well is getting a lot more content. Have you ever heard of the Ottoman Empire? I have, because they were super important. They get mentioned in my Berber video. We mentioned the Ottoman Empire, and in my coffee video. Sai Ram asks, how can one research about historical stuff? Well, if you want to just start, there's a lot of documentaries you can watch that are kind of easy to consume. Stuff like 500 Nations, great documentary. The Story of India and the Story of China by Michael Wood are really good. They're basic, but they're really good. And then after documentaries, you can start getting kind of more popular history books. Tom Holland writes a lot about ancient Rome and Europe that are really good. John Key, I think, has books on China and India that are really good. And then once you read those, you can start diving into more specific stuff. Geographer says, have you been to Cork before? I've been to Cork loads. I love Cork. I wouldn't want to state it publicly, even though I'm going to. Cork is nicer than Dublin. I know. I like Dublin more because Dublin has a level of I'm not sure I would say Dublin has a level of scaldiness, which I can't translate properly. Maybe trashiness is what Americans would say, that I connect with and that I like. I love how scaldy Dublin is and how you can see weird stuff happening in the street in Dublin all the time. So Dublin's my favourite city in Ireland, but Cork is nicer. It's nicer to be in. Someone's saying, have I seen the Stephen Milo video on Graham Hancock? I have. Love it. Stephen Milo, great. One of the best history YouTubers. You should definitely go check him out. One of the only people doing archaeology videos. Incredible. Someone's saying, have you ever thought about making videos on Inca or Mesoamerican religion? Yep, on the list. Aztec, Maya, Inca, and then other the native people of Colombia religion. They're up there. What else do we have? Someone's saying, how was the modern concept of country borders established? I doubt medieval kingdoms had border controls in Denmark. They didn't. I think Rome kind of did, but not really. It was mostly just blocking people they saw as barbarians from coming over in massive amounts. They had bridges and stuff they controlled. But no, medieval countries didn't have borders. You could just go. There was no, give me your medieval passport, you illiterate peasant. they didn't care about that kind of thing. The idea of countries with set borders and like set rules is super recent. After like the 30 Years' War in Europe is when that kind of comes up. And then the Europeans exported that idea of like, oh no, people need to have their own country with their own borders and they secure them. And it has to be made up like a majority group. Is super new. It's super only really relevant to Europe, and putting that thing in other places has caused like huge problems. Blah 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 blah. What else is there? Okay, I think I'm gonna finish it up now. Anyway, people saying watch your zodiac sign. I think it's a Taurus. I'm born in May. I know they moved recently, so I don't know. Love from India. Thank you, India. Definitely one of the biggest parts of the channel, which I love. So yeah, love to India as well. Okay, I think that's the last one. It's been like 3 hours. I haven't drank any water. So I'm going to close this up now. Thank you so much for coming, for sitting here. If you've been here for the whole 3 hours, thanks a lot. The live stream will be on the channel for like after it's done, so you can watch it like then if you missed them. Okay, there's one last question. Lipka Tartars, never heard of them. I know about the Tartars a little bit, but Central Asia, my history is not the best. And what's the current situation in Belarus covered by the media in Ireland? It's kind of covered. Like people know that there's like things happening in Belarus, and that the what's his name, Kurchenkov. I kind of forget the name at the minute. That he's being challenged for the first time in a very long time. But yeah, it's not covered super well. We just know that something is happening in Belarus. And if you want to learn more about it, you have to go online. Okay, that's it. So yeah, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for helping the channel get to 200,000 subscribers. We're super, super grateful. It's been incredible. After we've been here for like 3 or 4 years making videos. And seeing success is great. Really appreciate it. You can go to our Reddit to follow us on Twitter. You can go to our Patreon Discord. You can talk more, discuss things, submit ideas. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and yeah, good night or good afternoon wherever you are, or as we say in Irish, ihamwa or ihama. I don't know why I put a weird ihama, which is good night, and kulasav. All right, I'll see you when we do the next one of these things, I guess.